Yep. So Saturday's all right for fighting.
Fighting.
The weirdest Elton John song, because
That's Elton John.
he's such a brawler. Well, to be fair, yeah, he was gay in the what 60s, early 70s. So yeah, he probably had to. This
Yeah, it was Elton John in the 70s.
He was. They. What is it? Not Rambo. What was?
Rambo John. It's Elton John, but Rambo.
well, that is his first name. It's John Rambo.
Elton Rambo John.
It's Elton John, but it's Rambo, and he has the Elton John glasses on.
Who's the boxer that? Who was the boxer that Steven Sylvester Stallone played? Rocky, that's it.
Yeah.
He went out there to beat the.
He's just like.
Oh, and then he mumble rapped. I'm gonna be here.
Yeah, it just reminds me of that one meme.
I'm gonna say that sounds more like a banjo.
Yeah, it's so strange that we even remember that all these years later.
That was like our music era.
Yeah, it's so strange.
That was like 10, 20 years ago.
It was a long time ago. We are old people.
Do we need to do a recap?
The elder furries.
Recap. I think I died last year.
Only once? Aw, come on. So you can get those numbers up.
I am Lilith, and I've come back many times. The fur-hating paladins have come and slain me, but I keep coming back. I sound like Deckard Cain.
Strange.
Nang. What is strange?
Well, the game's just not picking up echo at all for some reason. I mean, the program isn't picking it up.
I blame homophobia.
Me too.
Yeah, that sounds right. Damn homophobic computers.
That's right.
At least the water's not. At least, first it was the water turning the frogs gay. Now it's the electricity turning the computers gay.
If only we had Alex Jones on the air to tell us, but no, the Onion bought him out.
Actually, I heard that.
It's like lying about school shit. It has consequences or something.
I heard that's not going to be going through, actually. Like, there's some kind of hiccup. Like, Alex Jones' team stumbled upon some legal way to, like, stop that or block it or something.
Let's hope not, because I would love for that piece of shit to just get absolutely wrecked.
I would absolutely love to see the Onion take over that, because that would just be hilarious. That would be the perfect end to Alex Jones, like...
Oh no, he's just rebuilding.
I don't know. The Onion on Blue Sky is just, like, not funny.
Yeah.
Like, their jokes just do not hit.
Yeah, it is what it is. But alright, shall we get on into it?
Let's get on in there.
Fen, do you remember where we're at?
I do.
I mean, in the story and whatnot?
Yep. Saturday.
Okay.
Leo wakes me up early the next day, telling me he had to settle some stuff with his dad at the shop. I don't get much of a chance to ask why or how or for how long he's going to before he's out the door, yelling something about food being in the fridge.
Chula, plenty of TV dinners just for you.
I was gonna say TV dinners too.
Oh man, you dinners are so disgusting.
Would you like some stuffers, Chula?
I immediately fall back asleep, though, and when I open my eyes again, it's 2 hours later. Leo texted me half an hour ago.
Accurate. Still at Pop's shop, but be back soon. I think.
I swallow back down the lump of dread in my throat as I remember the text messages. I didn't want to confront him, not one bit, but I can't just let it sit. Something has to be said before I leave. I lay around for another 20 minutes before grabbing my phone and to browse a bit. That's when I realized I hadn't charged it last night. My battery had just 25%. I groan and throw my arm over my eyes. 1 day left to do the project. I'm so far behind, though, that I'm not even feeling any anxiety about it at this point. Just resigned. I should have known better, really, that I wasn't gonna get anything done with Leo around. I stare at the wall for a while longer before I force myself to sit up. No use in lying around. I might not be making my best project, but it didn't mean I couldn't do a few things to make it less terrible. Food momentarily
Always the correct spirit.
Yep.
That's how you get those A's.
This is correct, actually. Food momentarily crosses my mind, but I shrug it off. I've never been a breakfast person anyway.
I'm all about being busy while you wait, so Chase can plug in his phone and then work on his project while he waits for it to get to like 99 or 100%.
Yeah,
It's called being protective.
Come on, you can get the entire project done in like probably 10 hours. It'll be fine.
Yeah, especially while video editing while you drive. That's always, that's when I get my best videos made.
And, that was the creation story for Doctor Strange, so it works. Become super cheap.
When I was in film school, I did it all the time, just driving around, the laptop in my, little lap, be like, okay, gotta edit this one, gotta move this clip from that timeline to that timeline.
Yeah, it's like,
and surprisingly, I only had 3 accidents.
Only 3 accidents. Okay, yeah. Carl.
You see, what you got to do is you got to just ask Jenna to drive home. And when she starts giving you shit, you just got to butter it up. And,
see, I doubt Jenna's ever driven because, like, her family's too poor to own a car. And, like, where would she have gotten one with, even with a college scholarship?
Maybe.
I don't know. That's my headcanon.
Be like, hey, Jenna, can you drive? She's like, I don't know how to drive. Well, this is the accelerator. This is the brake.
She cuts you off like, I know what all this does. I just don't have a license because I don't own a car. Not like I haven't been in one and seen it done.
Yeah, that's fine. Here's the cliff. Don't drive off. Oh, Jenna!
Sorry, I forgot how to turn. I thought it was inverted, like the video game airplane simulators I play.
You're just like, wait, no.
And Jenna, we're not respawning. You're both in hell. Hazbin Hotel.
We're both now dead. As soon as I leave the house, I notice things are a bit off. Firstly, it's dead quiet. Usually there's some kind of drone, whether it's the wind or a plane overhead, there's usually something. No sound of birds either, and those were always chirping in the morning. I stand in the doorway for a bit, feeling a vague sense of tension, electricity in the air. Something's building. I shake my head, feeling dizzy. The dream last night had fucked me up all kinds of ways, so it's not surprising that it's probably still messing with me. I'll be glad to be gone from this place tomorrow. Some rustling next to the door draws my attention, and I see Kudzu, carrying a set of clippers, walking across his front yard. I open my mouth to say hi, but I hold back, feeling self-conscious. His brooding nature was a bit intimidating, and I don't know if he's the kind of person who expects to be greeted, who expects a greeting or not. I'm not left
Because those
to...
are only special types of people that want to be greeted.
Yeah.
I mean, they're rare and, few and far between of people who want you to say hi.
And it's even rare outside the United States. I mean, everyone just kind of stays to themselves outside the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Especially in, rural places. They hate it.
yeah, you walk onto the property, you're like, I need to get my gun.
Yep. You
Like,
know,
no, I'm just saying hi and asking for
Well,
directions.
sadly, that might be how things are going to turn out here soon,
you just...
given things how things are going.
Yeah, it's going to start playing saliva.
Yep, you just drive into their driveway and they freak out. I'm not left to wonder long, though, because he spots me almost immediately and raises a hand. Morning.
Oh, hey there.
He grunts before setting his attention to a bush in front of him, sizing it up. I stand there awkwardly for a bit, wondering if that's the end of our exchange, but he speaks up again. Leo, take off. He nods his head at the empty driveway.
So, yeah, earlier this morning?
I walk down from the porch and walk over to the edge of Leo's lawn so it doesn't feel like we're yelling at each other.
Said something about having to take care of business with his dad. So he's probably screwed. And not in the way we did last night.
I see. Kuzu starts trimming and looks up at me before smiling. You can come on my lawn. It's not like I have an electric fence or anything. Looking down,
I thought he had a force field. Huh.
Yeah. Looking down, I see that I'm towing the edge of his immaculate lawn on Leo's side, looking like a little kid. I blush before stepping over to crunch along the tan-colored gravel he had set out. It's weird how nice it all is, especially compared to the shitty trailer sitting in the middle of it all. If he had an Adobe-style house, the place would be Southwestern perfection.
This all looks really nice. I guess gardening's your hobby?
Thanks. Kuzu snips at the bush rather aggressively. I like it. It's what I do most of the day. The raccoon moves to the side of the bush, examining it. It's peaceful. He gives the bush another snip before resting a hand on his hip while he lets the clippers dangle on the other side. And it keeps you in shape. I can't argue with that. Though he's skinny, the muscles showed through the fur of his arms. He's probably the most in-shape guy I've seen in Echo. I realize I'm staring and quickly snap my eyes back to his, but he's already smirking. I worry he's about to point out that he's caught me, but instead he gestures at my camera bag with his clippers. Gotta do something for your project.
Yeah. I need to get a bit more film before I leave tomorrow.
The slender raccoon wipes his forehead with a forearm. Anything in particular? I think.
Not really, just old stuff to show the town's age.
Kuzu sticks the clippers in the ground. Looking up, he seems to think. I know a few things. You go to the old school?
Yeah, I was heading there, actually.
And then there's the ruins next to the lake.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for Leo to drive me.
Other than that, there's an old rusted pump at the road, but I don't know if that's actually from Echo's earlier days.
Couldn't hurt to look. Where is it exactly? Not that it's gonna be any way dangerous.
Kuzu points over my shoulder, up the road. Down past Duke's house, right before the convenience store. It's kind of hidden back in some bush, but I can take you there.
Oh, if it's no trouble.
It's fine. I've got plenty of time to do. I've got plenty of time to do this day.
Well, all right. Thanks.
I shift the bag on my shoulders and stand to the side as Kudzu tosses the clippers beside the bush and starts walking towards the road. I follow him quietly, again feeling awkward under his no-nonsense attitude. So, you and Leo get along?
Nah, I stabbed him last night. He wanted me to eat another TV dinner. I'm just like, no.
That sounds rough.
Yeah, we're having fun.
My mind wanders back to the text messages and my stomach clenches. Good. He's been looking forward to this week for a while now. Wouldn't shut up about it last week. I'm somewhere surprised that it's Kudzu filling the silence between us. Not that I mind, he's pretty damn good at it for such a somber guy. I smile.
Yeah, that's Leo. He really misses our old pack.
Or does he? Kudzu huffs a laugh. Wolves. I agree.
Wolves.
As we walk, I can smell the heavy musk coming from the raccoon, mingled with his scent neutralizer. Evidence of a hard day's work. There's something special about hanging out with another musky creature. Makes you feel less self-conscious.
So I know you hate Peyton. Didn't you have to go back there for work?
Back in the day, I had a job studying desert plants after college. Good times. That would definitely put him a few steps above almost everyone living in Echo, where a high school diploma is a rare thing.
He throws constantly.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a clerk at the town hall, so no, I'm pretty much always here.
Always? Do you have a car?
Sold it after I came here.
Wow, don't you have to get out to shop for food?
Sometimes. I grow and fish for what I can, and the convenience store has a surprisingly good produce section. But otherwise, Leo gives me rides once in a while.
That's just the weirdest thing. Like, oh yeah, the 7-Eleven, that's where you get salad stuff. Like, what? I know, like, they sometimes have pre-made salads, but...
It could. I mean, there are convenience stores that do have a nice produce section, especially when they're kind of like the biggest store in town. So it's possible.
Ah, gotcha.
Again, I'm curious about what exactly happened in Peyton. I'm going to be gone by tomorrow, and I don't find the question to be too intrusive, especially with all the information he's provided me so far.
So I don't want to be nosy, but let me dig my nose right in.
And then... I let the statement hang for a moment, and Kudzu turns his head towards me. Then maybe you shouldn't ask. That stops me short, and I almost stop walking. I feel my face get warm, even under the heat of the sun. I glance over at the raccoon, but his expression isn't accusatory or angry. It's just as neutral as it always is. It makes me wonder if this is just the raccoon's way of speaking. I already know he can be blunt. I already know how blunt he can be. I decide to trust what little I know about him and press forward.
No?
I ask it with the same straight face. Well, you should always ask yourself if asking something nosy is a good idea. No reason to do it if it's going to piss someone off needlessly.
I mean, it's not like he's a journalist or something. Ah!
It's kind of his job.
Well, he's done such a good job, with his journalism project so far. I mean, who could question him?
Yeah, but he's a student.
Aw.
You don't really expect much. That's why they're called students, or interns. But before I can even consider, Kudzu goes on. Now, considering what we were just talking about, I can probably guess what you were going to ask. I can feel the embarrassment returning.
Kuzu is a mentalist. It's like, I can read your mind, Chase. Woo! Yeah?
But before I answer it, I have a question for you. I shrink a little more into myself.
Are you a top or up on him? Chase is like,
Obviously.
oh, all right. He's like, yeah?
Why do you care? The question definitely catches me by surprise at first I wonder if this is just Kudzu's way of telling me to shut up. But again, after looking at his face, I decide to just tell him the truth. I clear my throat.
Well, I like you. You're a cool guy. A very cool guy. Winkety wink.
Cool. It comes out rather lamely, but it's the truth. He has a demeanor of not really giving a fuck about what others think of him. It's like Flynn, except Kudzu doesn't seem like he was putting up a front at all. On top of that, he'd stepped in to stop a crowbar-wielding drug addict when he saw his friend in danger. Kudzu laughs, genuinely, and it's a bit startling. That's really the reason? I'm flustered again.
Well, yeah.
Fair enough. And I like you too. Leo was mostly right about you.
What did Leo say about me? Dish. What's the tea? Come on, Dish.
A lot of things, but you can't expect the wolf as love-smitten as he is to not exaggerate, can you?
No, I guess not.
I step on a particularly large rock and nearly lose my balance. Before I can even stumble, though, Kudzu is grasping my arm tightly, stopping me from running into him.
Whoa, sorry and thanks. You're the man of my dreams. I was falling in your arms.
I'm just falling in his arms tonight. This raccoon had damn fast reflexes. No problem. I start to walk again, but Kudzu doesn't move. I stop and glance at him, but he's looking up the road, not at me. I lost someone in Baton. It takes me a moment to realize what he's talking about, but then I do. By a guy with a gun who didn't give a fuck. I swallow and don't say anything, looking down at the ground. Happened on the same street we lived on. Of course, I had no idea what to say, and wait for Kudzu to go on, but he doesn't. When I look up, I see he's looking right at me. I swallow.
Yeah, that would make me want to move too.
Yeah, people. And there's less of them here.
Sorry.
Kudzu just looks back at me. Why? I open my mouth, but before I can say anything, Kudzu smiles. Kidding. I let my breath out in relief and laugh a little.
Well, should we keep going? Or do we have more tragedies to dish out? Because let me tell you, when my grandma died...
Let me tell you about this one time. I make as if to walk up the road again, but Kudzu doesn't follow. When I look back, he nods at the bush on the side of the road. It's right here. I wasn't expecting much, and I'm not disappointed as we come up on the pump. Mostly it's just a rusted piece of metal sticking out of the ground. Kudzu seems a bit put off by how lame it is himself. Smaller than I remember it being.
Meh, it's something at least. I'll get a few shots out of it.
Man, can you, just think back 10 years when people actually said meh. Not just, writing it out in, internet speech, not just typing it out and something.
Wait, shows the cops using that?
But actually
Now you tell
saying
me.
meh. How are you doing today? Meh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It's like, It's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, there was that phrase that someone just can't even, to say that they just can't do anything today. They just can't bring themselves to do anything.
They can't even bring themselves to make a complete sentence.
Yeah, right. Or like people today.
Well, this game is a time capsule. I mean,
Yeah.
it does take place in 2015.
This is true.
So they got the language right.
And you have like people using. I mean, when did people start saying epic fail and fail? Like 5 years ago or something? Like the common vernacular?
Wait,
Yeah,
when,
I think
when
that
was
definitely a Twitch.
when were we doing that D&D game with
Yeah, but here's the difference.
Gosh,
We were D&D nerds. So it makes sense for us to say fail, but like imagine some rando who's never even heard of D&D saying fail. And stuff like that. But anyway,
well,
it's kind of weird. I start unpacking the camera from the bag, a bit reluctant to do it for something so insignificant.
How did you find this thing anyway?
I look towards the road,
You're prowling for treasures, you little trash bandit.
Trash panda looking for hidden treasure.
I look towards the road, which is basically hidden by the dense brush in front of me. Needed to take a piss. I know my house is right there, but being outside is liberating.
Oh, it's our first reference to piss moving the plot along. Let's keep track of them. Because this is a specialty in the Echoverse. And if you think I'm kidding, no.
You are not kidding.
We just have the piss counter. Ding!
I've finished the Leo round on my channel. He's not kidding. Pissing is definitely one of those things that moves the plot along.
Get a Jenna's route. She's like, I gotta go to the skyscraper. I gotta take a piss.
and thus
No,
begins
but it is there. He's like, that's when he thinks he sees the monsters when he's alone, taking a piss. TJ's route, that's when he starts hallucinating. Is when he's in the bathroom.
He's like, oh no, it's a monster.
Some people
I can't
like
remember Carl or Flynn's dress.
He just starts hallucinating.
That'd be hilarious. He sees the monster and pisses on it. And the monster's like, no, stop it! Stop it!
Yay! It just looks at me like I am so.
I was gonna haunt you, but
I wasn't gonna hurt you, but now I'm so going to kill you.
You're gonna pay for this.
You got it all in my socket.
well, he is the.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
Speaking of which,
Oh.
I'm gonna do that. Taking a piss. He pauses. I can't do it in front of the pump I can do it in front of the pump if you like, for effect. I force a laugh, wondering if this is the first time I've heard the raccoon make a joke. At least I hope it's a joke. My laugh turns into a groan, though, when I see the battery level. First my phone, now this.
Jason sucks at life.
What's up? Kuzu asks from a bit deeper in the bush, facing away from me.
Not my battery!
Come on, you can load, little computer.
It's the little computer that could. Now Kaiser's computer just catches on fire and explodes.
Honestly, one of these streams it might. You're like, oh, you want me to do two things at once? What does this human want? My battery's low. Not gonna have enough for the school. I'll have to go back and grab a spare.
Oh, well. Why don't you finish the footage for the pump while I run back and grab you another battery?
And I'll just leave you in this secluded area where surely nothing bad will happen.
Yeah.
You don't run off.
You know, I just
Yeah, because the buddy system's not going to help us at all.
I mean,
you know.
I just pissed over there, so you can smell that from here while I run back. You know.
Yeah, Chase was just talking about how much he loves musky creatures.
Well, you know, we do need to know that Kudzu is waving a yellow hanky. So, you know, that's just crucial information for the plot. Which pocket it's in?
It's probably
Only
in
time will tell.
the. It's probably in the left one, right?
Really? You think he's the top? You know, muscle bottom vibes out of him.
You sure?
You sure?
Well, yeah. It'll be faster. I've been in his house a few times. Where's it at?
In a dock on his desk next to the computer. You know, under the, you know, in the safe, hidden by, you know, the painting, because Leo's house is so complicated.
What is a computer?
What is a computer? I
All
have
right.
no idea.
Alright, I'll be back. And with that, Kudzu jogs off out of the brush, and back onto the road. Within a minute, I feel like I have all the footage I can get out of the pump. I sigh and rub my face. The smell of piss is really starting to get to me.
He took like the 3 pictures he needed, and so it's a good thing that he's just, you know, there alone. You know,
just imagine that.
Nothing bad can happen. I mean, you know, it's only called a horror game. You know, that's only its genre.
I don't know what else he could have done. Like, he took like 3 pictures and he could have gone back with Kudzu.
Yeah. Just imagine
like,
that.
What is it? It's a rusted ass pump. It's a pipe sticking out of the ground.
Yeah. Just imagine that Kudzu hasn't drank any water in like 6 hours and he's dehydrated. He's like, don't worry.
He forced himself to.
I sigh and
rub. Like, you in front of Chase.
Yeah. I sigh and rub my face, glad to at least be out of the sun, but annoyed that I've gotten so little footage for it. As I'm doing this, I hear what sounds like a gag behind me. I perk my ears up and look back.
Now you got someone who's smelling Kudzu's piss.
Yeah, pretty much. I hear it again, but it's softer. More of a grunt this time. I'm almost positive that Kudzu didn't go that way, but I can't imagine who else it would be.
Kudzu? Did you become the Flash and are now at 2 places at once?
I mean, him calling out for people has worked so well in the past. I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder if.
Oh yeah, he's batting 1,000 with that one.
Oh yeah. I wonder if maybe the heat has gotten to him, and then someone starts choking me. I know how dangerous a heat stroke can be. Getting a little worried, I start moving further into the bush. Again, I hear a gag, and it's much louder this time. Good? Go ahead, Chase.
Good? You all right? You gagging on your own smell over there? Huh? Is that what you're doing? Mister?
I start pushing deeper with a bit more urgency, and not 20 yards in, I come into a clearing. The ground is covered in dead grass, and the sun hits me again with a vengeance. I blink furiously, eyes watering under the brightness of the clearing and the blazing red behind my eyelids. After a few seconds, I'm able to pry my eyes open. The first thing I notice is a peeling trailer to the right, pressing up against the trees. I have vague memories of a trailer back here where a grumpy badger used to live. Straight in front of me in the meadow is a dead tree, one with dry, gnarled branches that twist up into the sky. The tree itself would be eerie, though, would be eerie enough, but it's what's under it that stops me dead. It takes me a moment to comprehend what I see. Hanging from the lowest branch is a body, long and thin, emaciated down to the skeleton. I remain rooted to the spot, my mouth hanging open. Disgustingly, my mind immediately goes to the camera.
Of course it would.
I don't know why. Show it.
Because
Yeah.
you're a journalist.
Yeah.
So yes, that should be an instinct for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Showing footage of a dead body to the whole class. Either I'd get an A for being edgy, or I'd fail for showing a fucking dead body. Probably expelled, actually.
Well, you know, he's just in the Logan Paul school of journalism.
I feel my stomach start turning, and I'm finally able to take my first step back. But then it moves. It's a quick jerk with one of the skeleton's hands reaching out spasmodically to its neck before slumping back down. My eyes are fully adjusted to the sun. Now. I recognize the color of the fur, the build of that skeleton-like body.
Clint? And now I'm seeing a meth dick. That's what I needed to see today.
On
It's the biggest
unsteady,
bone on his body.
on unsteady feet, I manage to stumble forward and reach out to the ringtail, aiming to at least hold him up until I can shout Kudzu over to help. Somehow, though, he's able to spin and face me, his face an expression of mortified fury. His eyes are almost glowing with how bloodshot they are, and his twisted muzzle is covered in drool, leaking down his chin onto his chest.
Get back! Leave! This is my special time. What? What, Clint? What the hell are you doing?
This is how I pleasure myself to myself.
I'm into this.
I don't need any mirrors. Not like
You're
Carl.
returning with a wuss. I can do this better.
Alright, Chase, go for it.
Wait, I thought you had to. I move. Okay. Did I miss one?
Oh,
Yeah.
this is for
Okay. I'll
Chase.
just do it again. What, Clint? What the hell are you doing?
I move forward
I'm
again.
still going to ask that.
I move forward again,
It
but...
sounds a little western, southern, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We got to talk to Clint in his vernacular. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been back in Echo like a whole week. He's learning his old ways.
He's gonna start telling people to go get the thing that's near to the thing that's inside the thing. I move forward again, but Clint lashes out with a foot, hitting me in the knee. That's when I see his toes are touching the ground, at least barely. I
He's
stare.
learning how to be a ballerina.
Yeah. I stare in confusion and look back up to meet Clint's furious eyes.
Ew,
Spit.
make like a tree and get out here.
A tree. Spit flies out from his muzzle as I take a step back, completely at a loss for words.
I don't.
His bulging eyes move from mine to look over my shoulder, and his enraged expression melts, eyes growing wider. Slowly I turn around and my vision is filled with a mountain of brown fur. My eyes take a moment to draw out and focus, and when they do I realize I'm actually looking at a bear. A huge one, even for a bear. Huge, naked, and carrying a long, thin branch. The bear stands in the direction I'd come from, grinning stupidly at me. Instinctively I widen my stance, eyes looking left and right. All reason has seemingly left the land of Echo, and now my brain is left to try and put the pieces of this crazy place together. I watch as a huge tongue sticks out from between the blubbery lips and licks at them, sliding slimily between the gaps of missing teeth. Once he's done with that, he breaks out into a grin again, his black lips shimmering under the sun. Who
Brian?
It's a friend,
wants to do this one?
I haven't.
You guys sound like that. This a friend cat. See, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that differentiated for Clint. Good thing they don't talk to each other much.
I could probably just do Brian.
Okay.
Okay.
This weirdly high-pitched voice is about as startling as its size. I look back at Clint, who's struggling to stand on his toes, clutching at the rope now.
Oh, hard switch back there. But now, it's worth it if there's two of yous.
Uh,
The squeak that comes
I
out of
would
him.
say yes, but I'm swiping left.
Into impact play, are we?
Brown bear.
The squeak that comes out of my muzzle seems to perk at the bear's stubby ears, and he licks his lips again as he eyes me up and down.
I should get going. Sorry about seeing your guys' kinky play. Be safe, sane, and consensual, everybody.
Yeah, SSC. Try to avoid rack. This kind of looks like rack. Words fail me as the bear takes a step forward and I start sidestepping, preparing myself to make a run for it. The bear mimics my stance and my stomach drops as I see him take another step forward. I change my trajectory and back away instead. This time he doesn't follow me, just grins as he watches me move back into the brush. Clint struggles at the end of the rope, twirling around lazily as he tries to get a foothold. I get one last look at his face as he spins around, and I'm struck by the expression. For a moment, I'm 9 years old again, running behind the buildings on Main Street, probably from imaginary foreign agents of some kind. When I hide behind the tree next to Clint's house, I hear the screen door open, and for several minutes, I watch Clint breathing deeply into a rag. I'm too young to understand, but for some reason, I know it's not good. When I finally decide to run from my hiding spot, Clint looks up and we meet eyes. His are wide and confused. His are wide and wild, confused and hurt, just like now. I stumble into the brush, finally, feeling like I'm far enough away to turn and really make a run for it. Kudzu is standing next to the pump when I get back, holding a battery.
Taking another piss.
Probably.
Yeah, he got some water, at Leo's place too.
Hopefully
He
not
goes
on
right-
the battery.
Just so you can do that.
And it goes right through.
Whoa. I grab his arm and yank him towards the road.
Come on.
I mutter it under
I could say what happened, but I'm not gonna.
I mutter it under
Neener.
I mutter it under my breath before jogging down the road, Kudzu close behind me, looking over his shoulder. It's not until we're at the end of the road, turning onto Main Street, before I'm able to slow myself and tell Kudzu what happened. Holy shit. That's... Wow, now it's gone straight into stereotype territory, hasn't it? Holy shit. That's Brian.
Who?
I'm still panting, sweating heavily in the heat after the short jog down the street.
So I'm not sure. What do you mean it's going straight into stereotypes?
So, I've been having Kudzu have a voice that's sort of like maybe first generation or something, because I don't know what generation he's supposed to be. And then I was just like, okay.
It's first.
Yeah, and then I'm starting to be like, oh no! That is a biggest
Brian!
Like, that's just stereotype territory. Oh my god! He just reminded me of that one movie. Oh my god! It's Godzilla! But it's not Godzilla. That would be copyright infringement. But it's Godzilla! And then they all run away.
Yakachi just points up to this guy.
Anyway, let's get back to it. Big ass bear that lives.
Transfer offensive material.
Big ass bear that lives in the brush, right? He has a trailer. He has a trailer in there.
I don't know him. Did he move here after I left? Because I, as a teenager, knew all the drug dealers in town. And he certainly didn't make a veiled appearance in Route 65. So I would know. I'm a journalist, Otter. And I thought a badger lived in that trailer.
I assume so. He was here when I got here.
Well, what the hell did I just see? Because I, as a gay person, have no idea what kink is.
My mind
I
is
know we can't allow it at Pride for some reason. The straights told me that.
my mind is still trying to process it. I don't have an answer. I can't say I'm surprised though.
Are you serious? That's like the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. Because I'm a virgin. My eyes are pure. That's why me and TV get along so well.
Kudzu smirks. Well, I guess I would have had. Well, I guess I would have had to have been there, huh? I stare at him.
Yeah, I guess. Or if you're into that kind of thing, Kudzu, we could reenact it.
But
I could get a Switch.
but
Oh, wait, it's a Nintendo one. Never mind.
but from what I know of Brian, he's dumb and violent. Pretty sure he came here because he caused too much trouble on Peyton.
It's Clint that's the over. But he's having gay sex for drugs? No one has ever done that before.
Yeah. Yeah, no one ever sleeps with their drug dealers. Ever for drugs.
Especially when he's like the enforcer of the gang and also and yeah, it's also a regular thing that he does.
I don't know much about Clint either. Though, what I do know is that Brian is his dealer.
Really?
Well, really the entire town's dealer. That made sense.
And he's the bear who knocks. No one knocks on Brian's door. He's the one who knocks.
It made sense that Clint would need one in Echo, considering he was banned for life from ever driving after getting like 3 DUIs.
Wow, only 3. I would have guessed more. But I thought Jeremy did that. Carl told me that's where he gets his weed. Because, yes, Clint is obviously doing weed. That's why he's down to barely bones.
Because he shrugs again.
That's what weed does to you.
Yeah.
It's that non-munchy kind of weed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the kind that gives
it's
you
that
the
super indica that knocks you out before you can eat.
I think the kind that Brian sells is like it makes you think there's antlers on your head or something.
Kudzu shrugs again. I assume Clint is using more than just marijuana.
Huh?
It's becoming clear what kind of relationship Clint and the bear have. I shudder, just wishing that I hadn't had to witness it. I already feel bad for Clint, but now? Kudzu holds out the battery still in his hand. Want to move to the school?
Well, I think he just got schooled. Bum.
That's a sex ed class.
That's Chase's first kink class. Don't do as Brian does.
No.
This is BDSM 101.
Yeah.
There are those. Those exist.
Oh yeah. You go to a munch is what they're called.
No. No, there's literally classes that I know a group in LA.
Yeah, there's a lot of groups. There's a lot of classes in San Francisco you can go to too.
Well, no, it's not it's not a munch. It's you actually do the stuff.
Yeah,
you get up and do the stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You mean you can't distance?
Okay, I thought a munch was just like informal. You just wear street clothes and like have a lunch or something.
It depends on the venue. If it's a munch at like an eatery, then yes. If it's a munch at a dungeon, then no.
Mm.
And yes, there are dungeons.
Even I'm learning things. Yeah, let's do that.
The next hour is pretty uneventful, though. It's pretty uneventful, though I do get enough footage to the point where I'm satisfied. There's a point where I notice Duke down the road. He stands there for a while, watching us as I'm getting different angles of the school. It's annoying, but even though he's a complete fuck-up, he likes to pretend he's in control of things in Echo. Probably...
Chase, you trying to walk in on my bear? He's my bear! Mine, I say, mine's!
Probably just
He
promoted...
gives me the special table time.
gives me the special news time with the Switch.
Oh, well, you know, Brian and his table will, let's just say, come up later.
Mm-hmm. Probably just promoted himself to sheriff of the town in his mind or something. I ignore him, though, and the next time I look up, he's gone. I turn my attention back to the project.
Was he ever really there, though? Woo-wee!
I turn my attention back to the project before finally feeling a switch on my back and turning around to see I turn my attention back to the project, finally able to calculate how much work I actually have left. Now most of my work is going to have to happen the night before the due dates. I swallow, stomach churning at the thought. On the bright side, all the stress is pushing the memory of Clint being hanged and whipped out of my mind. Later on, I finally get another text from Leo, just before my phone dies.
But he didn't plug it in, like
Yeah.
an intelligent person would.
Indeed.
Hating Bob.
I do like that in the graphic design they put the scratches and cracks up in the corner.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. So even if Leo doesn't break all his phones, you know, he'll break them himself.
And still not help to replace them.
I'm hungry. We should meet for dinner. Meet at the diner.
Sure.
I invite Kudzu to come along, but he tells me that he can't stand diner food and that he was gonna go fishing anyway. It's too bad because I've really been enjoying the raccoon's company and fishing sounds relaxing. Now, next the Kudzu route.
The Kudzu route.
The Kudzu route. You literally just do a bunch of gardening and fishing, and then at the end of the day, he drives you back home. He drives you to your car.
Honestly, that would be an awesome route.
I know, right?
Route.
It's like
the only route that's not traumatic.
he's like, he tells you about everything that happened with his friend who got shot, and then like the monster shows up and he's just like 1 second and just puts on some Buddhist shit and just like does a dance and banishes it. He's like, I learned this from my great grandfather. Turns out he's
So he
actually
just
a
breaks
Buddhist.
out like, no, he dual wields wakashabis.
Wakasashis. He's like, pretty good thought.
No, it actually just turns into like an animation, and it's like a Chinese martial arts movie. He just beats the shit out of the socket man.
yeah, Echo just like for one scene, Echo turns into a fighting game with full movesets.
Yeah. The learning curve is incredibly high. Just times by the socket man.
Because you only have one chance.
That's right.
One chance, man.
If you fail, it just uninstalls the game. I try to exchange numbers with a raccoon, but my screen dies the moment I turn it on.
And of course, I don't know my own phone number.
Kudzu takes my number.
Chase probably doesn't.
Anyway. Kudzu takes my number, though, and promises to text me. I'm feeling
okay,
better
yeah.
just walking
Especially
to the
at
diner.
night. When
Yeah. I'm feeling better just walking to the diner, but then I remember what happened with Leo, what I might have to do. Should I bring it up now? I don't even know where it'll end up going. Can I even trust him again? Leo's not at the diner when I get there. I pick a booth towards the back, resting my head against the patchy cushions and closing my eyes. The week's gone by so fast. It feels like only yesterday that we actually got here. Thinking back, I remember worrying that everything was going to be awkward, that our past would catch up in the worst way possible. And it kind of did. We didn't fix or talk about anything. That gives me
I just got Leo, which goal succeeded. Goal accomplished.
that gives me a jolt of realization and sadness. Leo Dick was kind of, well, you know,
Hard and lumpy.
short and stumpy.
I mean, he was just so pent up. He just didn't last long.
And
I
dry.
remember in high school, it was.
Right.
He'd just go on and on.
Wow, nice. This whole time I'd been preoccupied with Leo and Leo with me. Wasn't Leo the one that was all concerned about us not keeping the pack together? This send-off feels empty and pointless.
Because he couldn't possibly be using this reunion just to get in your pants, like
Yeah.
Flynn said.
Yeah,
He couldn't. So there's no idea of subterfuge.
Yeah, he couldn't just be using it to try and get back together with you. Nope, never. It's really the last time I might get to hang out with some of them, mainly Jenna and TJ. And TJ had the most shit to air out. Did I fuck up by basically ignoring him this whole time?
Yes.
I
We
feel,
both do that.
I feel a lump in my throat as I think about the hike I never went on with him. Sure, I'd
The
figure
TJ lump, yes.
Because you're a bad boyfriend.
Sure, I'd figure things out with Leo. I figured things out with Leo, at least, temporarily. Very temporarily, actually. Already, things are in jeopardy again. But now it feels like things I should have talked about with the others have just been buried further. Even though I haven't seen the others for a few days, I can feel their resentment, knowing that Leo and I got what we wanted. Or at least...
Yeah, especially because, it's not like Leo was keeping you from all your friends.
Yeah. Or at least I thought I got what I wanted. Especially after leaving them to deal with the fallout of Flynn's meltdown. And now, because of that, it'll be harder to reach the root of the problem. Harder to talk about it. Because of that, we probably never will. I glanced at my dead phone, reminded of the complete lack of text from anyone other than Leo.
I do like that there's just a little bit of the reflection.
Yeah.
That's a good detail.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even notice that until now.
I suppose this is life. Sometimes things are buried and never talked about again. And in a way, I guess that's for the best. Sydney's death will die with us all. The Great Conjunction will kill us all! It just sucks that we all carry it, but can't rely on each other for support. I take a deep breath, wondering how long it will take me to process this whole trip. Maybe my entire life up to this moment. It's at this point that I notice Janice hasn't come up to take my order. The diner itself is completely quiet. An old rockabilly coming over the staticky speakers. I look around wondering if maybe this place is closed. I remember a few businesses didn't lock their doors. Mostly because of negligent employees. Because burglary is somewhat common here. I look through the plastic window and the swinging door to the kitchen, past the counter, and notice the fluorescent lights are definitely on. In fact, it looks like I can see some movement from the shadows on the wall. I think about getting up and knocking on the door to let them know I'm here, but that's when the front door is pushed open. Leo comes in, a big grin on his face.
Chula.
My stomach twists as he sweeps up to my side, and I can't help but jerk it away when he kisses at my cheek.
Can't help but jerk it.
He pulls back, frowning.
Toss?
I sigh, not able to meet his eyes. No, he's
Chase,
gone.
go for it.
Leo, I need to talk to you about something. Immediately, I can see worry on his eyes. He steps back, watching me.
Oh no, I hate it whenever women say we need to talk. Father always said, no, nothing ever good when one.
Own Kaiser, the favorite form of Kaiser.
He's back.
Hello. Welcome back.
Sit down.
Yeah. Discord is just not wanting to work with me today.
Leo, go for it.
Yeah.
We're at Y.
What? Why or what?
We can go back to what?
He steps back.
Go for it.
Watch me. What? Oh yeah, now chase.
Yeah.
Someone's got to chase.
There's Chula, stomach twist, moving
Brett, sit
chase.
down.
I sign not. Leo, I need to talk to you about something.
Immediately, I can see the worry in his eyes. He steps back, watching me.
What? What?
Sit down. Sit, boy, sit. Who wants to be a good boy? You gotta see.
Who is he, Kagame from Inuyasha?
Like, smash! No, his Leo's ears like flattened. He goes,
It's like, oh, am I not a good boy?
Leo asks, but sits down anyway. First off, I have to tell him that I looked at his fucking phone, and that's bad enough. I look to the right, heart pounding.
"Hold there. What is?"
His voice is soft, but I can hear the slight tremble in it.
Leo, I totally looked at your phone and found even more otter porn. What the hell?
What?
Just like every time.
Open on your phone was just all otter porn.
I jump as
What?
Leo's hackles rise and he bares his teeth. It's not an angry reaction, more defensive, fearful.
Chase, go for it.
You're up, Chase. His internet might have died again. Leo.
Hello?
Hello? You missed your line.
Okay. Yeah. Discord officially hates me. It keeps, even in phone mode, it just will randomly disconnect me. So I don't know what's up with Discord today. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Where are we?
Leo.
You say Leo.
Leo.
Oh, okay. I say Leo. Gotcha. Leo.
Why the fuck would you do that?
I shrink back, looking down as I listen to his breathing pick up.
I'm sorry, but you know what I saw? All the otter porn. All of it. I didn't even know there was that much on the internet.
Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Just like that fat
Well,
guy.
I know that's your intention with all that otter porn.
Leo went to Echo 621 and, oof.
Fuck, man.
Leo puts his face in his hands, which gives me an opportunity to look up. His ears are down, drooping towards the table.
Oh, he's a droopy dog now.
Oh.
Why did you do that?
I wait.
I mean, don't you have enough on your computer? But now your phone's all full of it too.
I wait while Leo continues to hide his face, his body rocking.
No.
It's not now what?
You can't do this to me now. Not after.
I didn't do anything to you. You're the one texting people that I'm... Which I don't, and also they never text me, which is a weird drive to the story. But we're moving on.
Yeah, that's weird. His head snaps up, and then I can see his eyes glistening.
I didn't say that. Busy.
And what you said to TJ?
Leo winces at that one and slumps back into his booth, his face dejected, desperate.
Please try to understand.
I wanted all your autos just to be. I didn't want to go spitsies and spit roast you.
The mouth, the nose, the ears, the airs, the eyes, the port.
What? That worked out surprisingly well.
I let some anger into my voice, wanting to show Leo that I'm not going to forgive him just because he's sad. And I think he realizes that because his face changes, lips bared out of anger this time.
Yeah, I'm... aren't I?
Yeah, you are. Again, somehow it's only your responsibility. No one else's.
Yeah. Sus, the
Especially the
asshole.
people he's splitting a hotel room with, being like, where are you? But no, they're not going to do that.
No, not at all.
Instead, Leo's just magic and can, block everything out.
Sus, the asshole that just ditches me, avoids me, won't talk to me.
I don't say anything in response.
And you wonder why I'm fucked up about this. You're the one that just walked out and left me.
Because, this is a perfectly logical A to B between these topics.
It's called manipulation.
Yeah, like,
Really?
emotions don't make
like
sense.
this is a super abusive tactic
Yeah,
of deflecting.
yeah.
Sympathy didn't work, so now I'll try anger with old fights.
Mm-hmm.
I was young.
Yeah, you keep saying that, like you're not young now. If you had actually dumped me then, maybe I wouldn't be this up about it.
Well,
Sorry, Tad. I do have to just say it. It sounds like you're going a little Arnold Schwarzenegger with Leo today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to have the sexy times with my girly man, Arthur.
I want to have the sexy times. Yeah. But that works fine. The last sentence escalates into a scream, and I flatten back into the booth, glaring up at him. Leo had never hurt me before, and I'm not afraid he will now. I've endured plenty of his tantrums.
Again, that's not a red flag at all.
That also seems to be a theme in the group is like Leo and Flint and both have like tantrums all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know how crazy this makes you look? I mean, crazy in love. For my chasey boy.
Oh, great. You too?
I'm serious. I'm drawing the line here.
Leo's snarling face turns up, and it's when I hear movement behind me. I turn in my seat to see Janice striding out from behind the counter.
You see Jaundice?
Yeah, Jaundice.
Yeah, she's turned jaundice now.
Yeah, she's just yellow.
That's what Echo did to her this time, yeah.
She's got
This is like-
super
it's
yellow
like-
eyes.
This is like we're all inside of a body and now it's just Jaundice appearing.
Well, especially in a furry world, you got to be really yellow to notice that from under your fur.
Yeah, I know. I turn in my seat and see Jaundice striding out from behind the counter. Her eyes are yellow. The kitchen door is swinging shut behind her.
Patches his skin. Jaundice? Wait, Jaundice?
That's, you know what? Yeah, let's just go with that as her official name now.
And then Clint's name is Scurvy.
Scurvy. Yar, he's got
No,
a
Clint's
pirate
name is Captain Meth. Yeah.
Captain Meth.
Captain Meth.
Who needs Captain Morgan? We got Captain Meth.
He's just got this really just destroyed like superhero suit that has an M on the middle.
No. He's got, like a tricorner hat and, knee pay on his side
Yeah.
and a blunderbuss.
He has
He's
a
like, I'm ready
necklace.
for my meths.
He has a necklace that has a
A
glass
meth
pipe
crew.
on it.
And so the meth gang is a meth crew.
And they're, just looking for the one piece of meth,
Leo's fur flattens back down like he's forgotten all about our argument. It makes sense why. Something's wrong. Janice had been acting strange all week, gradually looking more haggard and pissed off as time went on. Of course, I hadn't forgotten what had happened on the side of the road a few days back, but I'd been content with assuming that had been some type of drug-fueled adventure of hers. Now I'm convinced she's...
Being on the road is quite the adventure.
Mm.
I mean, speaking of, like, swashbuckling,
Yeah.
You've never been a trucker before, have you? That's pretty common.
Yeah. Taking a leak on the side of the road is pretty common. Now I'm convinced she's having a mental breakdown. Her fur is mussed up on every inch of her body. Her eyes are wild and wide, similar to how I'd seen Clint earlier. Blood is smeared.
Wait. Chase was seeing every inch of her body.
Oh,
I think that's a little TMI.
blood
She
is
just doesn't have the apron or anything on.
blood is smeared everywhere. Blood is smeared everywhere
I
across
also
her
like
apron.
how her sprite does not match her description, or B, look anything like William.
Hmm.
That's the guy from the smoke room that she's
Gotcha.
directly related to.
Gotcha. Blood is smeared.
Okay.
Blood is smeared across her apron, and the handle of a knife sticks out of her front pocket.
Gosh, that's dangerous. Giannis, are you okay?
Leo's half standing. I'm not sure if it's because he's afraid of her, or afraid for her, or of her. She doesn't say anything, and as she sidles up next to our booth, I slide a bit towards the inside. Under her wild gaze, I'm feeling a little trapped.
Jaundice? Giannis?
Why are y'all always shouting? Little impatient? Well, let me take your order and I'll get you settled.
I imagine she's just going to take the bloody knife and, like, right with the bloody knife. When she runs out of blood, she just, like, stabs herself in the leg and keeps writing.
Does she just carve the
Like,
order
Leo,
into the
get a
table?
little closer.
Come here, Leo, I need some ink. Oh! She's like Sideshow Bob. She just like picks her finger and then like writes the order.
There's like this loud screeching.
Alright, Leo, go for it.
Are you okay? Are you cooking?
Leo gazes at her apron.
Yes, I'm cooking today. What can I make you?
I'm getting the unnerving feeling that she isn't even looking at us.
It's looking through you.
Leo glances back at me, to which I respond with a bewildered look of my own.
Do we want to make a guess of, who she killed?
I'm going to
Because
guess
my guess is...
Clint.
Okay, that's your guess. Taz?
Who did she kill?
Maybe she killed the bear?
My guess is that she killed the other otter.
Oh, you think she killed Sydney?
Dale?
Yeah, no, Dale, because Sydney's been dead 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. I mean, there was like another chef back there, right? There was like an actual chef back there. You think she killed him?
Yeah, that's where they got that shipment of meat from.
You know, I think we might
Nonsense. I've got everything fired up in the kitchen.
Leo doesn't respond, just stares at the big coyote. Janice smiles crookedly.
Well, if you're not gonna order something, then I'll just make your favorite.
With that,
Which sounds terrifying.
yeah,
Yeah,
But-
what in this state, what does she think their favorite is?
roasted otter. I mean, Leo's into eating otter, right?
Well, eating out otters.
With that, she turns and starts waddling off, having not even acknowledged me.
What the?
I reach into my pocket, thinking about calling an ambulance for the poor woman until I remembered my dead phone. I whisper over to Leo.
You know, a dead phone is always just the good start. You know that they're going to make it just fine in a horror setting with a dead phone. You know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Should we leave?
Maybe.
But Leo doesn't move, just stares after Janice. I look out the window to the sun-baked road.
Have you noticed something's off?
About
Like,
Johnny?
you know, there's a murderer that's cooking us food. Bears are whipping cats. Kudzu's peeing all over the place.
Well,
But
besides Johnny saying that's kind of ordinary echo. It's kind of bingo.
Yeah, it's why it is so nice here. It's why I
Yeah,
continue to
that's
live
what
here
I-
for some fucked up reason.
Yeah, that's why I just stay in my own house, jerk off to otters, and you saw.
I jerk off to otters and then punch holes in the wall.
Because they're not getting me off as good as you did. God damn it!
I need you back in my life.
About Johnny's? Oh,
No, not just her, the whole town. Did you not listen to the list I just gave you? Kudzu's peeing everywhere. Like,
That's-
everywhere. Like 4 times in the old school.
Oh, no, in Echo.
We even found that ghost of that poor kid. Okay, I think that mentioning the meadow with Clint and Brian, but I'm still trying to absorb that myself. Leo sits back, just looking back at the kitchen door where Janice disappeared.
Honestly, people act so crazy here. I don't know if it's because of drugs or because they are actually crazy.
But come back to Echo Chase, please.
Yeah, it's such a good idea.
Please.
Please come back to Echo. This is a great place to vacation permanently.
Yeah, permanently, forever.
See, we've
Forever.
got meth.
From
And we have haunted lakes that you can't go into.
Yeah,
And
to your left, you'll see the meth gang. To your right, there's the one motel in the entire place, and further off in the
That
distance,
doesn't have a pool.
the diner, manned or coyoted by the crazy lady.
covered in blood.
We got sick
With
and tired of a
knives.
coworker. She was like, "Oh yeah." You
And here comes some of the locals. Here's Duke and Brian with guns.
They're fine, upstanding citizens. What could go wrong?
They've never done anything super illegal.
Yeah, except meth.
Except for the serial killing. But, you know, who counts that?
Yeah. I see his nose twitch.
And I don't think she knows how to. Something smells funny in there. Kind of like copper. You smoke copper?
Kind of like copper and peace for some reason, and sheets, like someone's bowels just released themselves due to being dead, and I look back out the window, wondering if I should bring up our argument again. That scene with Janice just has totally thrown me off, and I'm reluctant to waste any more energy on yelling. It has to be brought up again somehow, but we can't just let this sit. Wait, yeah, we can't just. It's clear that exactly what Leo wants, though.
Me.
It's clear that's exactly what Leo wants, though. So I hop and stare out the window. This fucking town. I haven't been paying much attention to it in the past few days, being too infatuated with Leo. Sure, I'd seen some weird things, but it seems, in my absence, everyone's gone to fucking Wacky Shack.
You know, the hate crime I got, the hate crime you did earlier in the week, that's just normal.
Yeah, that's just absolutely
Yeah, that
normal,
wasn't
Echo.
wacky at all.
That's just normal Echo behavior, I look at Leo.
Have you noticed any of the on?
Leo sighs.
Been out of town since the early morning at your dad's shop, getting yelled at for ditching work all week.
Yeah.
Probably. It's like, yeah, didn't you notice all these things?
Go for it, Leo.
Again, I never know what's weird or not here. I guess I've never noticed a few things.
A frown.
Were you just hoping I wouldn't notice and be tricked into being your housewife?
Leo doesn't say anything. Instead, he just goes on staring at the kitchen. Would he really just let me blindly move to this town when he knew everyone was going crazy?
Yes.
Looking out the window, I notice a figure moving up the street, jogging. A feline. TJ?
Is that Teach? And he's still in his khakis and his polo? Man, that guy really needs, workout clothes.
Yeah, I know, right? Leo glances out the window.
Looks like it. But for a jog, of course.
Of
course, he does actually hike, in trails, in his khakis with his red polo. That's actually CG's. So that it's confirmed. That's how he does his exercise.
Yeah, I guess it works for him.
You can't get undressed for the Lord,
The wolf turns his attention back to the counter as Janice comes out, a messy, dribbling milkshake in her hand.
Kaiser, it makes
Here's
me
an
think
otter
he just goes to the shower. He's still got all his clothes on because he won't been dressed for the Lord.
Well, yeah, don't.
Yeah, it's like Arrested Development. He's a never nude.
I mean, don't you also wash your clothes when you take a shower? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a whole one and supposed to be a whole one and done thing.
Yeah,
That's how we save money on laundry.
Yeah.
We only have one pair of clothes.
Yeah, shampoo works for clothes. We all know this.
Yeah.
I bathe in laundry detergent. Oh, Janice, what are you cooking back there?
I glance at the crazy coyote as she wobbles over to us, staring at the milkshake with wide eyes.
Oh, meat.
Leo lets out a hollow laugh.
That's an awfully specific answer. I don't know.
Oh,
Was it free range meat?
what kind of meat?
I'll be honest with you. It's a bit tough. Stringy.
Like an otter, but this one was fat, unlike Chase.
I lose interest in the conversation and instead look back out at TJ.
How does he lose interest in
What's going on?
Yeah.
You lose interest in dissection discussion? Dave's supposed to be
Again, he's an awesomely good journalist. Why would he ask a follow?
You look back there. It turns out a coworker is just vivisected and gagged but still alive.
You actually see the head just laying up on the counter. She forgot to put it back down.
I feel like something's off for sure. He's a ways away, but he looks kind of afraid. One of his hands reaches out to bat at something.
something's wrong. Because, PJ, while he does all the drugs, I mean, he doesn't grab at invisible flies.
He does
That's
drugs for the
a
Lord.
new one.
I do drugs for the Lord.
I do ayahuasca for the Lord. I muttered.
He
under
called
my-
it his Jesus dust.
yeah. It's not angel dust, it's Jesus dust.
These are from the crackers.
He just mashes.
Cocaine.
He just yeah.
That's his idea of transubstantiation,
Yeah, he just gets a bunch of like holy wafers and
It's
just
Jesus
grinds them up.
dandruff.
Holy wafers. Holy tiles.
Yeah, he just snorts them off of his Bible. Off his Bible's
He,
back.
has the St. Paul tab of acid going,
Mhm.
He's got it's like extra pages at the back of the Bible that you just tear off and make like little tubes.
No, he eats little pages of the Bible.
It's all laced.
I muttered under my breath and start to stand, set on getting out there to see what's wrong with him, see what's going on with him. But at that moment, a truck pulls into the parking lot, full on, right in front of our windows. I find myself staring right at Duke. I also see something big in the back of this pickup. A brown furred head peeking over the roof.
Well, just wait till you see him. But, Brian has, some nice fair hair. Or fairly missing hair. I forget which one. We'll find out again soon. Duke?
Leo snaps his head over to look out the window. As the weasel gets out of his truck, I see something in his hand. A gun.
Sheets.
Language, Leo.
Yeah, because we're going to clearly hash out our argument, about him, keeping me from my friends, the last chance I get to see him. We're clearly going to hash this out right now. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
That's clearly where the scene's going to go. I feel it.
He's bringing in a gun.
Leo reaches across the table for me.
No, well, I'm here.
Johnny's.
But she's already
The
striding.
good old-fashioned knife v gun fight.
Mm-hmm. But she's already
Clearly, that's going to go well.
But she's already striding to the doors just as Duke pushes through them.
Joss, get down.
But Duke spots us immediately.
I told you not for me.
He starts towards our table, but Janice is on her way towards the kitchen to intercept him.
Duke, is that a gun? I am not gonna have you barging here to ruin the peace.
She sticks her bulky body in his way. She's bulky? He didn't look bulky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the sprite just does not match her, how she's described, or her very large ancestor.
Yeah.
It just is a complete art mismatch.
Yeah.
Well, if she turns sideways,
She's
probably takes up the entire screen.
just falls through some slats in the wood.
She's very narrow but very wide.
Mm.
Get off. Hey, good.
Language.
As if Janice doesn't notice that there's a fucking gun being waved around next to her face. I reach out and grab Leo's arm, trying to pull him down.
It'd be funny if Janice just like grabbed Duke's hands, like bent him over her knee and started spanking his ass.
I told you to hang your
And he randomly just shoots as he's getting spanked.
I told you to watch your fucking language.
It's like the movie Face Off. You watch
Alright, Chase, go for it.
Call the police. My phone's dead. Again, always a good sign. Look how prepared I am for emergencies.
Oh, yeah. Leo slowly sits and looks around. The only exit is at the front. We're trapped. Really? You can't go out the kitchen or something? Don't.
Don't you think that behind all this, you've been seeing that otter around too, haven't you?
I am not concerned with that anymore. I've made things right.
Why, the power of murder. Even though this route she doesn't get a grave dug. You're not what happened with our grandparents? My grandpappy Cliff, who, was the most masculine and heterosexual weasel that's ever been in this town. You don't think what happened to our grandparents is happening to us?
I won't ask you to leave again, because Uncle William would have you in the face.
Her voice is threatening. From this angle, I can't see her hands, but I can see she's reaching for something.
His dick.
She's gonna rip it off.
I told you language! Oh my god.
Just get down.
Leo's voice is bizarrely calm, but as he reaches over to me, I can feel him shake. He presses down on my shoulder as I'm about to slide under the table, and as I'm about to slide under the table, I see Janice move towards them.
Then
I cover my head and cower against the booth under the table. Leo shouts and yanks me up against his side, covering him with his arms. I hear him breathe heavily into my ear and stare wide-eyed from under the booth, only able to see the dirty, beige wall opposite us. Leo's breathing is all I can hear, otherwise it's silent.
you see, they're describing Janice. They called her a big beige wall.
Mm-hmm. Then I hear Duke muttering something from under his breath, followed by soft padding footsteps. A few seconds later, his legs come into view and his feet turn to face us. I see the gun dangling from one hand before he raises it slightly, pointing it at us. I close my eyes. How did this happen? Just seconds ago, and Leo and I were arguing, and now I'm about to fucking die. I keep my eyes tightly closed, hugging to Leo as hard as I can and wait. But nothing happens. I keep my face pressed against Leo's chest, though, wondering if I'm already dead. Finally, Duke speaks.
It's jammed again.
Yeah. How did he magically win with a gun in a knife fight? I mean, that was just magic.
Well, no, see, Duke was supposed to go there with a knife, but he cheated.
Okay, now. Great. Trying to find the place. Are you guys already past the black screen?
We're at Leo out. Otter, you stay there.
It's after
Leo out. You Otter, you stay there.
I feel Leo hesitate against me. Then his lips press against my ear.
It'll be okay, baby. You'll stay here. And then, sorry, not this far.
Slowly, he untangles my arms from around him. Then, with his hands up, he pushes out from under the table and stands up.
Face the wall. Get that ass out. I want to see it.
Spank, spank.
Leo hesitates and Duke growls.
I ain't gonna fucking kill you right now. We just gotta figure out what's happening is all. Killing you doesn't fix anything, but asking a guy who knows nothing about what's going on, that will. The last guy got killed and I didn't fix shit. Because I murder people all the time. It's just one of the... with my bear.
Share with my bear. You shot John. John is.
Because you got me. And don't matter. But it don't matter now. So murder is legal. I, as sheriff, have declared this is the purge.
I was just about to say the purge too. There are
Leo,
no laws no laws exist for this now. For this
Leo,
right now.
Leo turns to face the wall slowly. I watch from the space between the table and the booth.
What do you want?
To fix this. Now, you started something with this order. I think it was called sodomy in the Bible. An unnatural coupling of beasts. I mean, look how hot you are, Leo. What do you chase? But this has all happened before.
Now we're
My grandpa, the incredibly hetero and masculine Clifford Tibbets, told me all about it.
now this now Echo's gonna get hit by meteors. Duke looks
Tar.
Duke looks out the window and makes a come on motion with his hand.
We're going to stop it from happening this time, even though I've constantly just been saying that it's already started.
Leo looks to the left.
Then Leo looks to the right.
Then he looks all about.
He sticks his left leg out and sticks it and takes all about. But you, John is.
I hear the wolf's voice break slightly.
Won't matter in the long run.
It's on the way out anyway.
Because I'm clearly in shape to do a long run.
The door rattles. The doors rattle as someone comes in.
You got the zip ties, hand behind your back, Leo. Even though, obviously, between me and Brian, we would have actual handcuffs. But we're just not going to use them on you.
Leo looks at whoever just came in.
Come on.
Now.
Slowly.
And that's the first appearance.
Slowly, Leo does as he's told, and I see a pair of massive paws reach forward and bind the wolf's wrists. I swallow hard as I watch Brian pull the zip tie tight. Duke puts a forearm to his nose.
Dang. Smell like hard work and motor oil, like you worked at a shop. But I hope you didn't kill that ringtail. We could use them.
Brian just grins in response, his teeth yellow. My heart sinks as I think about Clint. Had he been warning me to run? Why had I thought that him hanging from a tree like that was probably just a normal thing for him and the bear?
Because it is.
It could taste incredibly stupid.
That's their normal.
Was he a victim of whatever crazy has just hit the town? That must have been what was going on. All of this hitting at once, it can't be a coincidence. Clint was probably just as scared as I am now.
Grab that otter and tie him up too. Because we know you like bondage there, Mr. Bear. Just stick him in your trailer for now, where it'll be perfectly safe and you won't have any temptation to murder him.
My stomach drops. Duke gestures with his gun again.
Come on out.
My legs are lead. I can't move. Leo looks over his shoulder at me, and the fear in his eyes scares me even more. His muzzle moves, mouthing something. Run. But still, I can't move. I've never been so scared in my life. It's like everything is numb. Brian doesn't care, though, and moves forward. The look on his face is eager. The gun goes off. Everyone, including Brian, jumps, and I hit the floor with my hands over my head. I look up and see Duke, eyes extra wide, dancing around, pointing the gun upwards at the ceiling.
Hey, Kaiser, you just
Fuck
need to
you.
actually shout this part and then say something about your laptop being on fire.
Well, I was just trying to check and see if my laptop was back on Discord. Still not. She's crawling around up there. I told you she's on my ceiling every night watching. Damn it, Rachel. We killed you good once.
You know he's trying to kill her.
Now we'll kill you again. Brian's looking up too, and for the first time his face is twisted into an expression that isn't stupidly grinning. It's full of fear. But when I look up, I see nothing.
Dos!
Leo hisses at me, and that jolts me back to reality. Without even willing myself to do it, I shoot out from under the table. In front of me are two exits. The front door and the kitchen door, whichever is closer. There has to be an exit somewhere in the kitchen, but I'm not sure of that. My legs are already making me run, though, and I have to choose now.
Alright, which way are we going to go? The kitchen door or the front door?
I mean, if we go to the front door, we have to go through these guys, right? And he has a gun. If we go to the kitchen, at least there's cover,
kitchen,
right?
We could see the body, maybe.
Yeah. If we go through the kitchen, we'll probably see whatever's back there. There's also potentially weapons we could use if we need to.
Okay, you start going full housewife. Get a pan.
Well, as we just proved, clearly in a gunfight, knives are a viable option.
Well, if you use
Managed
a
to prove that.
shield, so. And we all know using a shield as a weapon from Elden Ring is actually a legitimate strategy. So.
Chases the shield hero.
Well, it depends. It's the barricade shield.
Alright, let's do the kitchen door.
Okay.
I have no idea how long Duke would be distracted, so I dive behind the counter for my closest exit.
Look, go as fast as you can.
Away, Brian. I will say obvious things because I am Duke.
Me smart. I push past the swinging door and immediately slip. One moment I'm standing, and the next I'm laying on the ground, face stinging from the smack into some tile. I stare blearily at the ground.
No shoes in this world. How are you going to have flip shoes?
Yeah, this is true. People just don't wear shoes. And yet they have gravel and sharp rocks and stuff. I stare blearily at the ground, forcing myself to move again. But it's still so slippery. At first I think the tiles are just red, but then the overpowering metallic scent hits my nose, and I realize it's more than that. Blood is everywhere, and now I'm covered in it. I sob, wondering when the nightmare I'm in is gonna end, when the paralysis will hit me.
Fuck! Get her off me!
I force myself to move because I need to get the fuck out of here, dream or not. I slip and slide along the tile, trying to stand, almost falling. I manage to grab I manage to grab the metal counter and yank myself up. And I'm standing over the counter and over what's on top of it. A pile of meat. I can see the fur, but it's a mound of unrecognizable parts. Butchered. Something cooks on the stove. My stomach churns as I heave, but there's nothing in me to come up. A bang behind me forces me to turn to my right. I see the mountainous form of Brian charge to the door. He slips immediately, but his momentum still takes him forward and he reaches out for me. Next thing I know is that I've been hit by a car and I'm flying back. I stop short of hitting the ground thanks to the wall behind me, and my head explodes.
Okay, I'm back on laptop. I think it'll only let me have one connection at a time. So when I switch to the phone, then it disconnects me. It's like, oh, no warning, it's back on. So sorry, so hit the ground on the wall behind me, and then we're to the black screen, right?
Mm-hmm. The darkness that surrounds me is painful. I feel like I'm floating in a black sea, and nothing about it is comforting or peaceful. It's like a fitful doze when you have a really bad fever. It feels awful and murky and sick.
And the fever has really big fists.
Yeah. I feel my head tilt back and a lightning bolt arcs through my head.
Well, I think that is the new feature of the new bird flu, so...
I try to open my
Has been-
eyes, but they only manage to flutter, and I see flashes of red above me.
Another feature of the new bird flu is that it contacts you on X and tells you that you're sick.
It's just the bird flu.
Okay, the fact that you say X, just like, ugh, that made me cringe.
Then you
Salt
see,
the weather.
then you see like a bird scuttling across the roof, walking up it. Then turns to you and says, "It's Twitter, not X. Or is it X and not Twitter?" And then it jumps on you and starts attacking you.
Starts beating you up.
Starts trying to peck you.
But if anybody wants, they can find me on Blue Sky under Kaiserhoon.
Yeah, go to Blue Sky. Something is hooked under my back and I'm dangling from it. I imagine a rope tied around me, holding me above the darkness, above the dark abyss below. Is this hell? No, you'd be upside down if that was the case.
Yeah, although he's quite perceptive for someone being unconscious,
Yeah.
you know?
I grip my teeth as the searing red becomes too much to look at, and I close my eyes again. This must be a nightmare, one that feels too real. I've had them before, and I know how to deal with them. Just need to go back to sleep, to drift off, and I'll wake back up in my bed. Go back to sleep and wake up in my dorm. Wait,
Okay,
an echo?
could we just take a moment and say this is the start of the scary part? So anybody that is sensitive, there's going to be some not good things happening from this point onward. So I just want to do a little content warning.
Should we just take like a break right
Yeah,
here?
let's
and
take a break.
Anyone who needs to should go take a wee.
Sounds
All right.
good. All right, we will be right back.
But I was going to say, like, I stopped trying to record
All right.
because, like, yeah, on my end, I'm just missing so much of the audio.
And we
Because,
are back.
when I'm doing the phone thing, the computer can't pick it up, so.
Yeah. All right, we are back to the game. Wait,
All right.
an echo? I tried to prod back into my memories. Where was I last? What was the last thing that I remember doing? Slipping, banging your head. Trying to remember is monumental. More than I can handle, and unfortunately I drift back into unconsciousness.
Getting hit by a train called Brian.
Yeah. I'm pulled back into the sickly dark as something jolts my body. I grimace and gasp. I'm filled with such a feeling of unprovoked loneliness and despair that I actually feel my eyes watering as a sob escapes my mouth. I hear a soft chuckle above me and I go quiet. I still don't know where I am or what's going on at all, but that laugh is enough to tell me that I don't want to be where I am. The feeling of hanging
Yeah,
from...
he's so perceptive for an unconscious person.
Yeah.
I wish I could have this much awareness, going on when I'm, like, asleep.
Mm-hmm. The feeling of hanging from a rope is gone now. Instead, I'm lying on something flat and hard, and my arms and legs are spread out. Spread eagle, huh? The air is
Yep.
cool and... The air is cool now, and my skin is cold and wet, like I've been sweating a lot. The feeling is especially strong along my back, and I want to roll over, but I can't. Something is holding my arms down, and there's a rattling sound when I try to move. I moan and try to open my eyes, again, though it's almost like they've been glued shut. With a little more effort, I manage to crack one open. At first, all I see is a blur of colors above me, and I have to blink a few times to clear it. Slowly, the image comes together, and I'm able to make out that someone is there above me.
It's Rainbow Dash. It's just you're in like My Little Pony, but it's a nightmare. And
No,
your arms are
no, it's
strapped.
Spider Face.
Your arms are strapped just like the other pony is about to just start pulling you apart.
Yeah. Getting
My Little Nightmare.
drawn and quartered. Yeah.
What I'm picturing is Brian just has a radioactive spider just there, bites Chase. Oh, that's how we get this picture.
Mm-hmm. I feel my
Jason's
blood run
Spider-Man.
cold, realizing that someone has been watching me this whole time. But I'm lying down. How can someone be on the ceiling? I try to speak, but only a dry, crackling squeak comes out of my throat. At this point, my vision is cleared enough to make out an otter. An otter? I squint. A blue shirt, beige pants. I gasp and reflexively try to draw back away from the thing. Is it me? It smiles. It's missing my goatee. How? The flat surface I'm lying on tilts precariously and my stomach lurches. I try to clutch at the surface, though there's nothing to grab onto. I shut my eyes and gag as I feel my stomach swirling around inside me. All I can do is pray for it to stop, feeling like everything around me is about to fall over. The ache in my head.
I do like the idea that the goatee is so terrible, even Brian hates it, and he just like shaved it off while he was asleep. He's like, look, I'm gay, but I'm not that gay that I'm going to let you keep that terrible goatee.
Even better is if he actually just had a patch of completely unshaved fur. You just see his skin underneath of it.
I'm into some really bad stuff. I'm not going to let you keep
close
bad facial hair.
I'll turn your outie into an innie. The ache in my head is magnified tenfold, and tears start to leak from my eyes. Just when I think I'm about to slip off the face of the earth, the ground starts to tilt back the other way. I swallow and gasp for air, my entire body shaking and sweating all over again. I feel like I've been swimming too long and my body's exhausted. What the hell is going on? I remember that someone was staring down at me from the ceiling, and I opened my eyes again, fearful. I cringe as I see the same otter staring down at me. The otter that's clearly wearing the same clothes as I am.
I finally see how ridiculous my goatee is.
But now, it's not smiling. A tear-stained expression is on its face.
I tried to talk Leo into this, but no, now Brian's doing it.
It's a mirror. A mirror on the ceiling? I try to sit up, but come up short, gagging as something tightens around my neck. I try to move my hands to whatever it is, and that doesn't work either. That same rattling sound I heard earlier makes me look towards my right hand and see that it makes my blood freeze. Around my wrist looks like a leather strap. I desperately look at my other hand and find the same results. Looking at my feet, I see the same contraptions fixed to my ankles. When I try to lift one of my feet, I see metal glinting from underneath, making me think that the leather is bolted to the platform. All employees. Panic right.
Every time the word platform, it says DSP. All employees get to the mounting platform. All employees.
Panic rises up in my chest, and I kick my feet and try to flail my hands, but the straps hold firm to what looks like a wooden planks. Which is the platform that I'm lying on? They're arranged in a way to leave me spread eagle. Over the leather I can smell all kinds of musk, though the strongest one reminds me of Clint. I try to lift up my head, but the thing around my throat is too tight and instantly makes me choke again. My head throbs. Tears start to form in my eyes again as I try to think back. Where the fuck am I? Is this a prank of some kind? Maybe my friends at the dorm.
For their merry pranksterness.
Oh, yeah, I know. Maybe my friends at the dorm were trying to scare me. Had I been drinking at a party? No, wait. I'm an echo. That's the last place I remember
You
being.
know, I've gotten drunk too much sometimes and ended up in a BDSM dungeon. So, I mean, that does happen.
Somehow, right?
I'm so
Magically,
that's
yes.
never happened to me before.
I'm here for a project and I'd been with my old friends. I was with Leo and I'd been at the diner. Suddenly all the horrible things that had happened in the day come rushing back. Janice, sorry, I missaid her name. Jaundice. Jaundice, Clint, Brian, the gun. Oh my god. Had that really happened? I struggled a bit more, then tried to think. I had run to Leo's house. Leo, I don't know what happened to him. I left him with Duke. And then Brian. He'd been chasing me and tried to break in. Started to breathe heavily again as I realized where I might be. Brian got me when I was trying to run and hide. He just fucking attacked me. I look around. I'm in a small room with what looks like a living room of some kind. There's a couch to my right and a wall with a clock on it to the left, ticking away. There's a window too, and along with the ticking, the wind blowing outside is the only other sound that I can hear.
Can we just take a moment to just like admire this scene? It's like it looks like there's a window in the back with like plastic draped over it.
Yeah, it's broken window.
And then
It's not a sofa. It's just a big old giant lazy boy.
yeah, it's just big old. There's a basketball behind the text screen.
Yeah.
So you should think like Brian is like somewhat fit. There's like looks like a little toolbox, and there's like empty bottles all over the floor next to it.
Well, what's weird for me is that the chair and that table are both things look exactly like things that my grandparents had.
Yeah.
The weird tier table.
Kind of looks like just stuff he inherited.
It was probably the old Badger
Actually-
before he killed him.
Actually, it looks like those chairs are like the same kind that we've had before, huh, Finn?
Yep.
Then also, can't put doors on for under the sink.
Mm-hmm.
It just all spills out.
I've got a picture where someone actually tried to put drawers in front of a sink, but then it was like they had to just had to accept that yeah, you can't fit drawers in here, but we'll just keep the little drawer hole right there. It was like keep the drawer right there, like the cover of a drawer.
I mean, you can put drawers in front of a sink, but you have to cut the drawers in a way that makes them custom fit to where the sink is. And you probably need
just have an awesome sink where it's just really far back. You just have a wide counter.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have something where you could pull the drawers out and then unlatch the entire assembly and swing it out so you could get to the sink assembly if you needed to.
No.
Looking down towards my legs, I can see what looks like a tiny kitchen with some cupboards and a countertop. Dishes and junk are piled high along the length of the counter, and it smells like cigarette smoke. Judging from the layout and size of the place, it looks like I'm in a trailer home. A small moan of terror escapes my lips. I'm in Brian's house. Fucking Brian. Hear that, Brian? We're in your house.
You know, to be fair, I'm surprised it only smells like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Not, you know, the rotting flesh of his victims, or, you know, the meth that he's cooking in there, or...
I mean, he's so fat for a reason. What do you think he does with all that meat?
Nom nom nom.
I remember Kud telling me that he lived in one. Tears started leaking out of my eyes again, even though the crying was making my head throb all over again. All I can think about is what he was going to do to Clint. No. No. I have to calm down. I don't want to attract any attention if he's actually nearby. After what happened in the diner, the cops have to be on their way. If they aren't already here. People eat in the diner all the time. Someone, one of my friends probably, would find it and call someone. I just have to wait until they find me. I swallow again, feeling my body break out into a cold sweat all over again.
Yeah, because I'm sure his friends aren't doing anything crazy either. You know, we only saw TJ running from invisible monsters.
Yeah, and
I mean,
so like a big thing with
No,
kidnappings.
honestly, whenever I read that part about TJ like running by and like his arms waving around in the air, what I think of is way back in the beginning of, like, you know, when Markiplier started his channel, he had this, and one of the ends of his videos, he had something called the Markiplier mating dance or mating ritual. Where he would just lean over a little bit and just have his arms like he's like pulling up on like a rope or something, and just like up over his head. So it's just like straight up and down. That's what I consider like TJ was doing, is just running around doing the Markiplier mating dance.
So, like, real talk, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube or wherever, the chances of you actually getting rescued after getting kidnapped and spirited away somewhere are incredibly slim. Do everything you can to never, ever go with somebody who is trying to forcibly take you anywhere. Even if that means you have to die fighting them. Do everything in your power to make sure that your DNA, your spit, your blood, their spit is everywhere. Everywhere.
You want to practically explode with evidence.
Yeah, because if they actually manage to get you away, if they actually manage to kidnap you, the chances of you being found are, they're not infinitesimal. That means extremely small. Infinitely small. They're not super, I mean, what is it, like 10% chance of being rescued? 20% chance? And every hour, every minute that goes by reduces the chances of you actually being rescued. By the end of the first day, you should just assume that you're going to die. That you will only escape if they let you. So, if you ever find something leading up to this, make Duke kill you. Do not, like,
Brian kill you.
grab any weapon you can and just go at them. Try to escape. Do everything that you can to escape. In this situation, like, literally break your hand trying to get out of that if you have to. Because, really, as I said, every single minute reduces your survival chances. I mean, the situation that Chase is in right now, he's spread full eagle, leather's bolted down. It's bolted down behind his neck, most likely. He can't do anything. So, unless, the boards are weak or something and he can just break out, or he's Superman, he's pretty much just entirely at Brian's mercy, and Brian's going to do horrible, horrible things to him, and he's going to wish he would just die, most likely. But
I don't know. I have a theory of Super Chase.
yeah, Super Chase could be a thing. But yeah, it's the whole thing. In reality, Never allow yourself to be put in this situation. Make them kill you.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't be Chase.
Yeah.
Because whenever Chase gets into trouble,
Well, I think that's a good rule for life.
What's a
yeah,
good
it's
rule
a great,
for life?
great rule for life. Don't be Chase.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay, well, that's just a good rule for life. And Discord automatically switched, so that was pretty easy.
There you go.
Now that I know that it's doing that.
There you go. But
Be
yeah.
Kaiser's Discord. Don't be Chase.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything you can. Never be in this situation. Never go somewhere against your will. Make them kill you.
Especially because the only one that would know at this point is Leo, who's also being kidnapped.
He's currently probably having his junk cut off of his body, being fed to him. So, it's yeah. Yeah.
We
People,
don't really know.
if someone wants to kidnap you, they probably don't want to shoot you in the back.
I don't know. Chase got a pretty good idea. Just, Carl's is going to stumble in there and be like, I will find that Chase. I am Detective. I am Detective Carl.
Yeah.
Oh, Chase, where'd you go? I better get high and find out.
Yeah. All right, well, back to it. What's going on? They wanted something from us. I remember that, at least. But what? Duke had been saying something about seeing things, and that we might be responsible. I squeeze my eyes shut and shake my head, but then immediately stop when my head starts to throb from the movement. None of this makes any sense at all. Am I still dreaming? At that moment I hear soft mumbling in the distance through the thin walls of the trailer. I freeze and hold my breath. It's a little ways off, but I'm almost positive that it's Duke. The high, wheezily whine mixed with the occasional smoker's cough is unmistakable. It's coming closer and I can start to make out what he's saying.
Because we're... You think we can just let him go and it'll all be fine? Getting back to, our disclaimer.
I don't know who he's talking to, but the sound of an accompanying heavy, lumbering step gives me an idea.
It's worth it, though, if we can figure out what's going on. Because Duke, who has a joint the size of a cigar at all times, will be on this. We'll all be on figuring out the supernatural.
Oh, yes.
Indeed.
It sounds like they're right up against the trailer now. I can hear them walking around it towards the small door at the right side of the kitchen.
Leo ain't seen shit yet. Almost like he doesn't know anything. But I think it might be the otter. He's the one I seen last week.
The footsteps...
that's kind of romantic. Duke is, seeing Chase in his dreams.
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, Chase, come closer, so I can
Be my new race.
so I can flay you again.
Fillet you again.
The footsteps stop in front of the door, and I listen hard, my heart pounding in my
If your
chest.
heart can pounce, that's not a
Yeah.
good sign. It usually has to stay in the body.
Yeah, it usually just goes and like comes out like it's aliens, and then flies out of your chest and goes and eats somebody.
Echo happens in the Looney Tune universe, confirmed.
I hope you haven't done it. Oh yeah, go for it, Duke.
I hope you haven't done anything to him yet. Because I want my turn first before you ruin him.
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
Brian's uncharacteristically high-pitched voice sends a chill up my spine. My
It feels
fur,
like you just got kicked in the nuts.
my
Just because he's a bear in the country and a serial killer doesn't mean he can't be a queen.
yeah, that's true.
Hey,
Yes, Queen.
hey,
Yes.
Hey, listen to my banjo. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum.
My fur flaring
And the
out
other bears are going to have a jamboree.
sends a
All right.
chill up my spine. My fur flaring out with it.
You bet your ass you bet your ass you haven't. You do any
I stop breathing, staring at my terrified expression in the mirror.
what I'm saying is we still got a chance to get out of this. You know, because no one's gonna notice I murdered a person in a public place. What we've done is bad enough, but if we get them to understand, all the supernatural things will be just out in the open now.
They stop talking, and that's when I can hear Brian's heavy, labored breath. I'm not breathing at all. I'm worried that they'll be able to hear it even though they already know I'm here.
Chase, you're an otter, not a possum. No trying to play possum.
I let it out and with a gasp as the door suddenly swings open and Duke comes up the steps, looking around before spotting me.
Brian, you are one sick.
I tense up as a massive shadow appears behind him, and it feels like the entire trailer tips a bit as Brian makes his way up the same steps. Brian's presence is so imposing and frightening that I don't even notice that Duke is now right next to me. And I jump when he sets his hand on my left arm. I jerk my head to look at him, wide-eyed.
Hey, calm down. We ain't gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Other than, knocking you out, dragging you around, and now got you in a torture device that no one will find you at. We're not going to hurt you that much.
Yeah, we're not gonna hurt you.
And then Brian chuckles.
Yeah, these little clippers here, these are just for looks. And the cigarette
Brian
clipper
goes
too.
and grabs his sewing kit.
Brian chuckles.
You'll never piss again.
Well, that might. Oh, sorry, that was spoilers.
Brian chuckles and Duke shoots him a look. He turns his attention back to me, softening his expression, at least as much as he can with his scraggly, drug-fucked face.
We just need to get some information from y'all. Like how, the town goes, because clearly you, as an otter that's lived a normal life, would know about that.
I open my mouth to speak, but all that comes out is a dry squeak. Brian chuckles again and makes his way to stand on my right. I cringe away from him and his stench of old sweat as he grins down at me with his yellow teeth.
Brian, he's an otter. Otters need water. I learned that in the grade school.
Brian looks at Duke with a strange face before turning back to the kitchen.
Hey, don't worry about him. I know this thing.
Duke taps one of the boards with a finger.
Looks bad, but Brian says me to it all the time. And, we have our fun, but we just gotta hold you here for a bit.
Yeah, he likes it.
Duke glares at him as Brian comes back from the kitchen with a ceramic mug.
You're a queer too.
Brian visibly bristles, and his face loses any of the sick humor it once had. Duke clears his throat.
Things have been happening here. We want to find out why. What?
Duke furrows his brows, like a kid trying to figure something difficult.
You see, people aren't right in the head here. Because, in case you didn't notice, all the crazy people here.
Yeah, no shit. Duke seems to immediately read my thought process because he holds his hands up and shakes his head.
Yeah, I know. What we are doing ain't exactly the right in the head either.
Brian gives his dumb chuckle again, but I keep my face averted from him. Partly because I really can't stand the smell.
Well, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is something else. Like what you saw with Janice, the person I shot and just left her body there for, anybody to find.
I shift a little as I'm reminded about what happened at the diner.
Is she dead? Because, bullets don't always kill people. People kill people.
Well, you could say that her brain has its own personal air hole.
Duke looks genuinely sad.
I don't know what name. I had a liking to her, but she just never requited it. But you saw the way she came at me. Talking about.
I look at the weasel's waistband and immediately see the handgun tucked into his pants there.
And I was hoping to stop before any of this stuff happened, but now
Everything is gone to...
Brian finishes for him, and I can feel him closer to the platform I'm laying on. Again, I avoid eye contact, not wanting to provoke him in any way.
yep, it's only gonna get worse.
Duke just looks at me like, that's all the information that I need.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I see a twitch of irritation in Duke's face, and I hold my breath.
I mean, what's happening out there?
Duke shakes his head.
What's happening everywhere? It wasn't just Janice that lost her mind.
Duke looks back at the window suddenly, his fur standing on end. I look too, but all I see are leaves and branches, the late afternoon sun filtering through them. Duke's quiet for a while, before he starts speaking again, without turning around.
It happened to my granddaddy, Ray Clifford. My daddy, and it happened to my granddaddy, my daddy, and now it's happening to me. Although Daddy doesn't get a spin-off game.
I close my eyes, wondering if Duke is just as crazy as Janice was. If he does, I doubt he even has a clue what he's doing right now.
Dale's missing. Cynthia drove off into the desert. But she's still inexplicably alive after 100 years, but, we're going to ignore that.
We'll just
I was
ignore
like,
that.
Cynthia? Who's Cynthia? Like, wait a minute, I know that name.
Duke turns around to look back at me.
We saw your cat friend running down the street on his way here, saying something's after him. Like a Sydney or something? No one knows.
TJ?
Thing is, we all got something coming after us. Something bad. Wouldn't let you leave till it starts.
What's after you?
I flinch as Brian speaks just above me, leaning down towards my face.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I never murdered anybody.
I flinch again as Duke's concerned demeanor immediately drops away.
Why do you think we came to get Leo and you?
He
Because
pauses.
I got the good grammars.
He pauses, like I should actually know the answer. I feel myself starting to panic again with these two crazy hillbillies looming over my body.
I don't know what.
Duke slaps me and I gasp in shock.
I saw you hanging around this fucking town before you even got here. Late at night, lurking around, calling out for Leo, and then you started stripping, and it was the whole thing.
I'm still cringing from the slap, and I keep my eyes closed, as if not seeing any of this is going to make it stop.
And then once all your friends get here, hell breaks loose. Think coincidence? Because, two things happening in succession always means causality.
Remember, everybody who convinces coincidence with causality dies. It's quiet for a moment, and all I can hear is the rush of blood in my ears. Is it really happening? I feel Duke touch my arm again, and I flinch in fear.
There it is. Hey!
I feel like he wants me to look at him, so I slowly open my eyes, tears spilling out as I do. The blurry shape of Duke dances in front of me.
So I gotta work on my ballet.
He's just got his arms above his head, spinning around.
He's dancing. Well, I'm not saying you did it or that you wanted it to happen, but you are clearly to blame, you Chase Hunter.
I don't say anything because I still don't know what he's talking about, but I know I can't tell him that.
It's just that you gotta know something. Anything that'll help us stop this. Because even though I am a direct descendant and probably talked to Clifford Tibbets himself, I don't know anything about this.
Duke starts to pet my arm and I shiver. Brian is breathing heavily next to me, and a glance at him shows that his expression is more interested now, almost eager. Duke still hasn't answered my question. Makes no sense that they'd go so far as to kidnap us.
Why? Why didn't you just ask us? Why all of this?
I lift my hands weakly, making the platform rattle. Duke's face darkens.
Because I've been asking Leo all week what you guys are doing, and he wouldn't say shit. It's like, it's a private thing. We're just going to have a reunion with just some friends. But I need to know the details. Also, are you and Leo a thing again? I need to update my statuses.
Duke stops petting my arm and scratches behind his head.
Yeah, it's because Duke's got Duke book. He's just waiting for it to go live.
On like an old, what were they called? 486? Because that's the newest computer he's got.
No,
Duke
it's
book.
instead of MySpace, it's Duke Space.
Duke Space. You're just making me think that
Duke Space 9.
You're just making me think that Duke Nukem makes like Facebook.
Well, he's the other Duke. You gotta have a partner.
That's like the voice whenever someone subscribes to you or something or follows you. Duke just followed you back. He's got balls of steel.
Balls of steel. Here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of gum.
As we're getting other franchises into this, Brian stands up and turns off the lights and goes, "Who's that kidnapper?" And he turns the lights on. It's Brian!
Alright, Duke, go for it.
Fetty Frostbearer shows up and be like, "Brian, you're stealing my gimmick."
And Freddy and Brian start fighting. The rest of the meth gang pours in. There's Foxy and everyone else jump in. There's a big fight. Tear the trailer apart.
Mm-hmm. Duke, go for it.
Wait, you already read that? Okay.
Right,
my someone told me that you would know. Because I get messages from the other side. My wife still, sends me texts.
Mm-hmm. The death forced divorce, I stare at him.
We'll get into it later. Who? Who? I should say in the right voice. Someone I know. And it makes sense. Something bad happens, and if you don't fix it, it won't stop coming after you.
I shut my eyes and almost sob.
Says they know, and I thought it had to be Leo, or you consider what we've been seeing the past few weeks. I know, the special friend told me. I couldn't have hallucinated that at all.
Duke pauses.
Or maybe one of your other friends? Yeah, let's get TJ on this bondage rack. I'm sure he'd love it.
You know, your Duke voice kind of sounds like Adam Sandler's character from The Waterboy.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
Water sucks.
My mind briefly flashes to TJ.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I wait for another slap, but it doesn't come. I open my eyes again, and Duke is looking back out the window.
We're kind of protecting you too, because by getting you directly next to the crazy, that stops other crazies from coming in. It's like the three stooges at the door.
I stare at the back of his head.
Things are getting worse out there, and if we don't figure out something soon, we're all gonna die.
Duke's
Because that's what happened in 1915. Everyone died. Don't know how we have descendants, but
yeah. Duke's voice is dead and distant. Brian, though, touches my other arm, and I gasp, shrinking away. He's smirking down at me, looking at my stomach or crotch, somewhere around there.
Brian, stop! You're supposed to look at me that way. I'm kidding.
Duke has turned back around, looking over at me and the bear.
We're not getting anywhere right now, and I gotta get back to the wolf. Because leaving a prisoner unattended for extended periods of time is a good, smart way to have a captive.
Even though Duke is the one that hit me, I'm terrified of the thought of being left alone with Brian. Duke sees my face.
Don't worry, Chase. Even though you're lying to us, I don't plan on letting this pervert have his way with you.
Brian
That's
snorts.
my job.
Brian snorts.
Brian, you know what will happen if he does.
Duke gives Brian a cold, callous stare, and this time Brian doesn't give his stupid grin back.
So you better hope you say something soon, because if not, we might have to get mean.
Duke heads for the door, turning to look over his shoulder.
Just feed him and make sure he doesn't escape. I don't know about, the bathroom thing if you're going to keep him tied up, but, that's it.
And with that, Duke briskly disappears out the door, a golden flash of afternoon light lighting up the dim trailer. Brian and I listen to the weasel's soft, anxious footsteps recede into the distance. As soon as the sound's gone, Brian stands up. I turn my head in time to see him whirl around and smash his fist into the wall. I jump as much as I can in my restraints before he does it again, this time slamming both his fists against the wall. Yeah, that didn't pick up at all. He screams so loudly, my ears immediately start ringing. I think he's talking to me, so I brace myself for what I'm sure is going to be the worst moment of my life. But he stalks right past me, not even looking at me. Instead, he strides up to the kitchen counter. Once there, he picks up a dirty pan, then raises it over his head before bringing it down with a crash. I hear glass shatter before he does it again and again. He throws the pan across the room to crash into the wall.
Tess, I'm having a hard time hearing you as Brian. Would you be able to, Move a little closer to the mic or something,
Or
maybe? I don't know.
Bring it down a little bit so your mic actually picks it up.
Yeah.
Did I go back and do his other lines too?
Nah, just pick it up where we are right
Yeah,
now.
no, just moving forward, yeah. There's plenty of Brian left in this game.
Like that?
Yeah,
that
that
better?
works.
Yeah, no, I heard it, yeah.
I stare at him, my eyes wide as I watch him stamp his feet like a little kid. Then he slaps himself across the face twice.
He is the kid.
After that, he closes his hand into a fist and punches himself in the head repeatedly. It's with a force
Yeah,
that
he
would...
doesn't have internalized homophobia. Yeah, no.
No.
That's just crazy talk.
It's with a force that would knock me out cold. Might be funny if I wasn't tied down to a contraption in a trailer belonging to Brian. Brian stumbles after what seems to be the fifth blow and covers his face. His massive shoulders shake with sobs.
Thinks he can do thinks he can boss me around.
Brian whirls around and slams both his fists into the counter several more times, the sound of shifting glass accompanying it.
I'll kill him! I'll kill him! Ah!
His voice crescendos in pitch and volume before he finally slumps against the counter. Head in his hands, he starts crying again. I breathe as quietly as I can, not wanting to draw any attention to myself.
I'll get him. I'll get him. Won't control me no more.
Suddenly, his quaking shoulders freeze. He slowly turns around with a sinking heart. I realize he's looking right at me.
We were joking that like this is like done in like Looney Tune world. Like I'm pretty sure like any of the Looney Tunes would have just like watched this happen to been like quit and just left. Just like just pulled their arms and their feet out and the contraption off, be like, nope, I'm out of here. And Brian just turns, just empty. He's like,
No, they'd probably
You
like...
need to use that escape-proof tune rope.
I mean, they'd probably just like pull their arms and legs and head out and like pat him on the shoulder and say it's going to be okay. And then just slip everything back in like what Roger Rabbit does in that one movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be okay, Brian. You'll get through it.
The fur on
And
his...
then he just goes right back to laying down.
The fur on his cheeks, already matted before, are now flat and shiny with wet. Snot runs from his nose down to his upper lip. Then I see red drooping from his left fist. The fur on the right is matted with blood as well. He watches me for a while, then grins.
Right. You.
I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. He suddenly strides right up to the end of my platform, standing between my spread legs. I feel numb, the fear taking up every fiber of my being. I feel nothing else.
You like seeing him make fun of me?
I try to speak again, but still nothing comes out. I swallow.
No. Well, kind of a little. I mean, it's pretty funny. Yeah.
And then he stabs you.
He slaps you.
My trips trembled as my voice shakes. Never stuttered so hard in my life.
You know what I'd do to you if I could.
Brian sneers down at me, the wet fur on his cheeks bristling out.
Oh, I swear to God, I your balls off right. Oh,
Well, that's not how CBT work.
He rests a huge hand on my crotch and presses down. I cringe and whine.
Please.
Brian's grin only gets bigger as he rubs his crotch with his other hand as he watches me wince.
Oh, good. You already know how to beg.
He leans forward towards my face, moving his hand to clamp over my mouth.
And then I'd hang you for hours.
I stare at him, breathing hard through my nose, tears leaking down the sides of my face. His hand slides down from my mouth to my neck, where he starts to squeeze.
Then I'd give you a little stool to stand on when you start to go out. Then I'd kick it out again.
I gasp and gag, both from the squeezing and from his reeking breath.
It's like the one worst thing. Just puts his mouth up where you would talk. So it's like,
Yeah. You just projectile vomit right into his face.
and then you find out he's into that too.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can hear you guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah, Discord just hates me. John Delancey's getting his revenge.
He stares hard at me, and I can feel his crotch grinding up against mine. He's hard. Then he blinks and slowly pulls back. He watches me gasp and sob for a while before reaching down again. I try to turn my head, letting out a moan of terror, but he doesn't grab my neck again. Instead, he prods and teases the fur, checking the skin on my neck.
Better not bruise it. If fucking her saw that.
His expression darkens again.
If you tell Duke about this.
He raises his fist, and I cringe.
To be fair, he hasn't done anything. Oh, well, he's gonna hit punch him, I guess. No, I won't, I swear. Except for the juicy details.
Juicy with this guy. I turn my head away, eyeing his raised fist. He holds it there for a while, watching me. He seems to be calculating something, like he's wondering if he can get away with what he's about to do. He seems to make up his mind.
Good.
With that, he slams his fist right down into the center of my torso, just below the ribs. Oh, solar plexus.
That's bad.
My vision flashes and I hear a rasping, droning wheeze that I realize is coming from my mouth. It goes on until there's no air left in me. Then I can't breathe again. My vision goes black as I suffocate, writhing against the restraints, wanting to curl up into a little ball and disappear. It feels like hours, days, before I can finally get a sip of air. My mouth gapes as I try to suck it in faster. Brian is standing over me.
Fair, he's an otter, so shouldn't he have, like, crazy lung capacity?
Brian is standing over me, and I'm somehow surprised that he's got a worried look on his face. He probably thinks he's killed me, but then my stomach starts to turn and I turn and lurch. Before I realize that I'm about to puke, a gush of vomit fills my mouth and I start to choke. Brian hurries to my side as I'm giving a second heave mixed with a gag. He tips the platform over sideways.
Did that?
Yeah, for the most part. His huge paw pushes my face to the side to look at the ground, and I watch as it all...
Oh, wait. Didn't they say earlier at the diner that he was going to throw up, but there was nothing in his stomach?
Yeah, I suppose, but now there's maybe bile.
It's the magic food. Yeah, it's the magic food that came up.
Yeah.
Didn't he get him some water?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
His huge paw pushes my face to the side to look at the ground, and I watch as it all spills to the ugly shag carpet. When I finish, Brian slowly tilts the table back up, looking at me with disgust. At this point, I'm too tired to cry. Instead, I lay there in a daze, occasionally hacking and coughing. Brian goes to the kitchen, wrestling around a while before returning with water and paper towels. He wipes my face and nose before tilting my head up to drink water.
Rinse and spit.
He holds the mug there too until I do as he says. Then he gets down on his knees.
Spit into his face.
I watch as his head bobs up and down as he busies himself with the mess on the floor, muttering about Duke finding out. I'm too numb to really care right now, though. Right now, I'm starting to realize that I might not survive this.
Really, you've just figured that out?
Brian calms down pretty quick after his tantrum. Once he cleans up the mess, he splays out on the couch and starts watching TV. Some kind of cartoon about a pink cat, and he actually laughs along with the juvenile jokes.
I'm imagining he's watching Snagglepuss.
That's what I was thinking too.
While this goes on, I
The
lay...
gayest of Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera.
While this goes on, I lay quietly against my platform, trying not to start crying again. My mind keeps wandering back just hours ago, how everything seemed fine for the most part. I keep wishing I could go back to the beginning of the week. Thinking about...
Like start a new round or something.
Yeah. Thinking about that makes me sentimental. And I'm longing to see Leo, TJ, Carl, Jenna, and even Flynn again. Where are they all now? Duke said things were bad out there, and they are all in some sort of trouble? If that's the case, the cops should be out here by now. Someone should have gotten word out, wouldn't they? People were murdering each other. Like what happened to Jaundice. I imagine it's Janice, M-Dash. Jaundice, M-Dash. There's no way that wouldn't be the case. Brian let out another explosive laugh, wiggling his feet on the armrest of the couch. Earlier, he tried to feed me some dried cereal, but it was like cardboard in my mouth, and after only a handful, I couldn't eat it anymore. I'm just thankful that he's preoccupied with something else right now. There's a soft knock at the door, and Brian jumps, quickly changing the channel to gulp before he gets up and lumbers over to the door.
It was Snagglepuss. He's like, I don't want people knowing I laugh at a gay cartoon.
He pauses, then rifles through some magazines on a small table next to the couch. He pulls out a handgun that looks cartoonishly small in his hands before making his way to the door. I weakly turn my head in his direction and watch Brian open the door crack. He chuckles.
World's... And you're still coming here for more, eh?
Brian pushes the door open a bit more and I catch sight of a skinny, malnourished polecat. Clint is looking up at Brian, appearing even more disheveled than usual.
You know, he could have already gotten some meth earlier in the day. Like, can you go through meth that fast, even if you're an addict? Because, like, he's already back for another dose?
I literally don't know anything about meth dosages or anything like that. I just know that you can smell a meth dealer.
He's back kind of fast. Yeah, because he is back surprisingly fast.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't give him so much.
So we doing?
Clint had stepped up onto the first step and looked into the trailer, immediately spotting me. He stares. The shock on his face is almost comical. Brian turns to see what he's looking at, as if he'd forgotten that I was even there. Gives a start before...
Oh, right, I'm keeping a hostage.
He gives a start before shoving Clint back out the door.
already got someone taking your spot.
And then Clint's like, "You're cheating on me!"
Clint's now out of my line of
I thought I was your special cat.
Clint's out of my line of sight, but I can hear him shuffling around with the dead vegetation.
Please, I really need something right now. We can do it outside. You know, in nature, under the stars, be all romantic.
There's a moment of silence as Brian seems to contemplate that.
I've got some business to take care of. Tomorrow, maybe.
Clint starts to whine again, but Brian swings the door shut with a bang. Brian walks back into the room looking down at me, then back to the TV.
More Snagglepuss. Probably him see you, though.
He mumbles before sitting back down and switching the channel back to the cartoon. I stare up at my reflection. Even from here I can see that my eyes are bloodshot, the fur on my face matted. There are dark spots on my shirt, too, and distantly I wonder if Brian had broken ribs when he punched me. But I remember that his hand had been bleeding when he did that. I feel strange right now, numb. It kind of feels good after the whirlwind of emotions I'd had earlier. Still haven't caught up to everything that's happened since I was in that diner. Would I ever be able to? Would I have time if Brian planned to? A tinge of panic pierces through my fog of disassociation, and I clench my eyes shut, screwing my face up as I try not to start crying again. Brian snorts again at something on the TV. I open my eyes to the distraught otter laying on the wooden torture contraption.
Why is there a mirror on your ceiling? Because I am Chase, and I am very dumb, and can't know that people put mirrors above their beds all the time. That's not even a kinky thing.
I surprise myself a little by asking the question. Apparently, I don't really give a fuck at this point. I see Brian look over at me from my peripheral vision.
You really want to know?
I shrug the best I can, continue to stare passively up at the ceiling. The movement sends electric tingles through my arms, which are completely numb at this point.
Well,
Brian shifts around on the couch as he tries to get a better look at me.
when I has my fun, I likes them to see what I'm doing.
I stare up at the mirror, my expression still blank.
I mean, it's not just about what I'm feeling. What they're feeling is important too.
Fear. That's what Brian likes.
Sure, I can choke you all I want, and cut you all I want. But when I do that, you're not really thinking about what's actually happening.
Brian shifts into a sitting position, now more interested in our conversation than his cartoons. I realize that I probably made a mistake.
Wanna see?
I keep my face blank, staring at myself. I don't say anything. Brian gets up anyway and comes around to stand over me, above my head, blocking my view of the mirror. His reeking stench fills my nostrils, but still, I try not to give him the satisfaction of seeing how afraid I'm starting to become. His massive hands reach around my head and start to fiddle with something I can't see. With one quick motion, the strap comes back down over my neck and my eyes widen. I grip my teeth and try to press my head Try to press my head as hard as I can into the platform behind my head to lessen the strain. It's not a lot of pressure, but it's enough to make me want to gag. Brian chuckles again.
See? You're probably only thinking about how it's hard to breathe right now, right? Just trying to figure out how to make it stop. But
Brian leans back, revealing the terror-stricken otter on the ceiling, his eyes bulging, teeth bared.
now you see what's happening to you. Your brain telling you, yeah, this is really fun.
The leather squeaks a little as he pulls it down tighter. I start to writhe at this point, and I can see my tongue sticking out, my face a mask of terror.
You feel more. And that's what I like.
Brian comes back into my vision, his expression different. He's really searching my face now, like he's looking for something.
Maybe you like it too.
Finally,
Well, I would think Chase is a sub, so
with
Yeah.
the final squeak of leather, Brian lets go, and I gasp hungrily for air. Brian pets my head while I cough, inhaling shakily.
Don't exaggerate. That wasn't nothing.
again, he's an otter, and they've made a specific point that he could hold his breath up to 8 minutes. So this just kind of weird how easily he's able to choke him.
Oh yeah, but
In my opinion.
it's also pressing on his carotid arteries, so
True.
he moves away again and slumps back into the couch, pulling on his crotch.
Your buddy Clint gets it way worse.
That not come out well?
I choose not to stare at the choking otter on the ceiling and instead look out the window, feeling fresh tears roll down my face. I'm not sure if it's from the choking or the black hole in my chest. I watch leaves rustling around in the wind and think about where the others are. Why no one's come to help me. Finally, I turn my head back to the ceiling. The blank expression has returned. Brian continues to chuckle at his cartoons and, despite myself, I ask another question.
Have you ever killed someone? Like today, in front of me, but that one doesn't count.
For the first time, Brian ignores me. I don't say anything for the rest of the day. I stare into the darkness, the only faint source of light coming from the moonlit leaves through the window. It's been less than 24 hours since I'd been kidnapped. Still, it makes no sense that someone hasn't found me. Is what Duke said about the town true? I wonder what Leo's doing right now, if what he's going through is just as bad. I doubt it is. At least Duke seems slightly less unhinged. I give a soft, trembling sigh, my head still throbbing from the day's events. The thunderous snoring of Brian is literally shaking the platform I'm on, and though I drifted off a few times, I can't sleep. He's right next to me, his stained couch apparently doubling as his bed. I shift around on the contraption for what feels like the 100th time trying to get comfortable when I feel something. It's more give in my right arm than I remember. In fact, it's incredibly loose. I pause, then experimentally wiggle my arm around before easily pulling my hand out of the restraint. I freeze, disbelieving, not wanting to believe in case it isn't true somehow. Painfully, I crane my neck to look at my right arm. Though it's dark, I can see that my arm is clearly free. My elbow on the board, hand in the air. I swallow hard, listening to Brian's snores again to make sure he is actually asleep. I try to keep my breathing even, not wanting to make any more sound than I need to, but I'm almost sobbing with relief at this point. Now I'm able to partially sit up and make short work of the left arm restraint. Fully sitting up now, I do away with the final 2 ankle restraints and slide off the table quietly. Brian is still snoring at full volume, and it covers up a little sound I make. Making my way over the messy floor, I find the steps and try not to stumble down them to open the door. Incredibly, there's no squeaking or rattling as I do. Before I know it, I'm outside in the cool air. I run through the woods and onto the road, sobbing with joy now as I see Leo's house. The lights are on, and as I'm running towards it, I even think of Carl's horn. I even think I see Carl's horns through the window. I run up the steps onto the porch and bang on the door.
Leo! Carl! I got out! Open the door! Because you guys were just chilling in there while, I was missing, but I'll get over it.
I try the handle and it opens, swinging inward to blackness. I stare, trying to comprehend.
You really fell for that?
I hear my own voice, but it isn't me that said it. Instead, it's higher pitched, like I'm hearing it from a video recording rather than my own throat. Then I'm sucked into the blackness and slammed hard back down on the wooden platform. All at once, I realize what happened, and my heart feels like it drops through my chest. Of course, a dream. I'm back in the hot, stifling trailer, and it looks even darker than it did in my dream. I close my eyes and start to cry quietly. It feels like I've just found out that I'm locked up in a psycho's trailer all over again. I turn my head and look out the window above Brian, longing for some daylight. Then I see 2 white eyes set against a black face staring back at me. I jump. What the fuck? Am I still dreaming? Then I see the 2 beige-colored ears above the head. Kudzu? I gasp again, quieter. I'm overcome with relief once again, but the fear that I'm still dreaming is almost overpowering it. I wave my left hand as much as I can, but I'm not sure if he can see it. I realize that none of the light from the window is falling on me. Kudzu moves to the side, then back again, squinting, clearly trying to see inside. I think about making a noise, calling out his name, but I have no idea how deep of a sleeper Brian is.
Again, calling out people's names. Always the best move for Chase.
As if on cue, Brian gives a louder snore and rolls over. Kudzu seems to have heard it, the big ears perking before he ducks down. My heart hurts just losing sight of him, and I strain at my bonds. Brian seems to be waking up, though, mumbling something in his sleep.
No, you're dead.
I pull with my right arm again, in case my dream had been onto something. It doesn't budge.
Fucking cunt.
Brian's really starting to kick around now, his massive form rolling over onto his stomach, rubbing his face into the pillow. He starts to make loud gasping sounds, and he gets to his knees on the bed. He holds his hands up, snarling.
You're
I stare at him, almost forgetting about Kudzu. His eyes are open and they snap to me, his hands still out.
No.
His face is etched in horror, eyes wide and white in the darkness. He backs up against the wall, against the back of the couch as he continues to stare. I stare back at him, unsure what he's going to do. After about 10 seconds, his expression starts to melt from horror to confusion. I continue to stare back, bracing for another explosion from him for whatever reason. His shoulders drop again and he frowns at me.
Did you see her? Did
My-
you see her?
My mouth is dry, so I have to swallow a few times before I can answer.
Headcanon is that it's Rachel, Duke's wife. Is that who is he seeing? But that's me. Who?
Brian doesn't respond and starts to look around the trailer. I see Kudzu starting to poke his head up again. At this point, I've made it up in my mind that I want to escape tonight. I'm not going to spend another minute with this maniac. Making a decision that could mean life or death so suddenly is terrifying and exhilarating. I don't give myself time to think about it.
Brian?
He doesn't answer, starting to get up and look around.
Brian? I need to go to the bathroom.
Brian sighs as he flips on the light. Kudzu drops out of view again. Brian heaves a huge sigh before turning to the counter. He reaches for a pan and dumps out some murky water into the sink. I wrinkle my nose. He shrugs at me.
What? This'll do.
No, I need to use your toilet. My stomach's feeling really bad right now. So just let me out of these bonds, and I won't do anything to try to escape,
Yeah.
Totally safe.
He'll just put you on a leash. Brian turns and really looks at me.
What? You gotta puke?
I shift on the platform.
No, I think I have diarrhea.
Brian pulls a look of extreme disgust, which is kind of funny for someone who apparently never showers.
Also,
Oh.
this is contradicted in Arches.
Right. Oh, it was countered in Arches? Oh, great. Maybe he
Yeah.
maybe he formed a liking for it.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. Honey Badger don't care. Of course, he's a bear. Never mind.
Oh, come on!
He glares at me like it's my fault that I might be sick. He looks around a while, then backs down at the pan. The bear seems to quickly disregard the idea and sets it back down on the counter. He comes over next to me and starts to undo the restraints.
If you try anything,
No, I promise. I just really need to go out of the trailer. Zink!
Brian grumbles as he starts to roughly undo my restraints. I take care not to look at his crotch as it's pressed uncomfortably close to my face. As he pulls my right arm out, I gasp in shock and pain. It feels like a million needles are poking through it as he pushes my arm down next to my body.
Wait. Fuck!
Brian pauses as he watches me grimace in pain, and I worry he's getting off to it. At that moment, though, there's some rustling next to the window, and I try to groan. Over it. The bear looks at me, bewildered and annoyed.
what?
Now my dream seems even more ridiculous than I'd so easily been able to run off.
Everything's falling asleep. Just take it slower.
Brian sighs even louder and gets to work on my left arm anyway. This time he doesn't yank my arm through and lets me slowly move it on my own. It's not nearly as bad as my right arm, which is still violently tingling, but I have to grit my teeth as I move it to rest on my chest. Luckily, my legs are fine and I'm able to move them easily after Brian takes them out. It makes me worry about what I'm going to do since I'm not really as strong as I should be. Brian is clearly on guard as he helps me sit up from the contraption, keeping his distance as he holds on to my arm. I sit there a moment, letting the circulation return back to my limbs as I try not to fall over from the dizziness. Brian finally gives a growl of annoyance and pulls me off the wooden platform. I realize that this is the moment I have to make my move. There's nothing nearby for me to grab, so instead I swing everything I have to smash my fist up against the side of Brian's face. Something cracks in my hand and pain rushes up my arm. I gasp and cringe as Brian grunts. Brian pauses.
Clearly, this was a great plan.
Oh yeah. Brian pauses and slowly brings his hand to feel the side of his face. I guess I'd hoped that I would be able to knock him out with one punch.
One punch.
So, okay, Seidelman.
Yes, I thought about.
So that's it.
But doing that as an otter to a bear, especially a bear like Brian, would have been quite a feat.
Have to roll a 20, followed by another 20.
Brian does seem stunned, though. That's all I need to take a huge breath and scream as loud as I can.
Down!
Brian whirls on me, swinging his fist along with him. I duck immediately, covering my head with one arm, the other still locked in Brian's grasp. He only partially misses, his fist catching the top of my head and my arm. It knocks me to the ground and I sit there in a daze. I don't have long to collect myself because Brian is pulling a foot back to kick me.
Shut up! Shut up!
I roll to the side and start trying to back away while I'm crouched, but Brian yanks me up by my arm, my head jerking back with force. I'm starting to wonder if Kudzu ended up leaving. If that is the case, then I'm definitely dead, because there's no way I'm gonna break his grasp. As I'm thinking,
Kudzu just showed up for a minute and then he's gonna dip. You know, that totally sounds like what he's gonna do.
He was like, no, never mind. I'll let him go.
It's up again, Brian. Never mind.
As I'm thinking this, the door bangs open. Brian is in the middle of drawing his face back when it happens, and he freezes, looking over at the door. Kudzu stands there, his eyes wide behind his black mask. Chest heaving.
Yeah, he's a Batman villain, in case everybody didn't know. Yeah.
Brian? The evil bear?
No, Kudzu. Because he has a black mask.
Oh.
Never mind.
He's scared, I can tell, but Brian's shot gives me an opening I was looking for. I reach between his legs and grab his balls. Weirdly enough, the first thought I have is about how fucking big it is. The second, it takes both my hands to wrap around it fully. When I do, I twist and yank as hard as I can. I pour all my fear and anger into attack, snarling as I do so. The scream that Brian lets out is so high-pitched I feel like every glass in the trailer is going to explode. This attack is all I have left, so when his retaliation comes, I don't do anything to defend myself. Luckily, it's not a punch or a kick, but rather he grabs the fur on the back of my head, along with my shirt, and tries to pull me back. My face stretches back as I stubbornly hold on and just yank down even harder. His sack is stretched and distorted so badly it's barely even recognizable as balls. The screaming suddenly cuts off with the sound of a deep, sickening smack. Immediately, Brian's body crumples onto me as he falls to his hands and knees. It happens in a way that he's splayed over me, his face inches from mine. I have time to smell his gag-inducing breath before the sound happens again. This time I see Kudzo swinging something down hard from overhead and Brian's head jolts. I watch as his eyes lose focus on me and then he slumps down. I turn my head sideways as he comes to rest on my body, crushing the air from my lungs. Kudzo is there immediately and pushes Brian's body aside to the point of being able to pull me out. He pulls me into a sitting position next to him. Are you okay? He's shaking and I can hear his ragged breath in my ear. The contrast between being engulfed in Brian's stench and smelling Kudzu's shampooed fur and peppermint breath is striking. I can't speak, and instead I lean against Kudzu and wrap my arms around him as I sob. Kudzu holds me as he looks me over. Can you walk? I nod silently as I press my face onto the fur of his shoulder. Alright, come on. We can't stay here. He stands slowly, keeping me in the embrace as he guides me towards the door. He then returns with his bat and finishes Brian off by crashing his skull until there's just a red paste on the ground.
That's what should happen.
If only.
Making sure that Brian doesn't ever come back for us.
Would that it were. Would that it were.
Or he calls the police. Which probably doesn't do either.
Well, he can't, but we'll get into that. You'll see why later.
And then the police, they beat Brian's head until it's only a paste.
I could make jokes, but I'm not going to because they're just so horrible. I don't remember.
Well, no, the police only respond to pinball vandalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing they respond to in this universe.
I don't remember how much about the walk back to Kudzu's house aside from stilted flashes of dirt and sagebrush. It's dark and hot, and my shirt immediately starts to stick to my sweaty fur. My legs are so numb that I don't even know if I'm moving them right. Kudzu has to hold on to me the entire way so I don't fall over. Why doesn't he just, pick you up and fireman carry you home? Crickets chirp all around us.
No. He's got a princess carry him.
He's got a princess carry the entire one. Crickets chirp all around us, but every few minutes I hear shouting and screams in the distance.
Disney Princess Chase Hunter.
I'm trying to look over my shoulder to see if Brian is coming after us, but Kudzu grunts and tells me to keep watching my steps. Some circulation has returned to my legs, and I'm able to at least match Kudzu's stride over the uneven dirt road. Still, it feels like 1,000 needles are stabbing up my feet and legs in waves with every step I take. I'm genuinely afraid that I'm going to wake up at any second and find myself still stuck to Brian's trailer. None of this seems real. I'm still watching my feet and the ground, so I don't notice Kudzu's house until I almost kick the bottom step of his rusty trailer. Just the sight of a trailer is sending chills up my spine, even though Brian's trailer looks very different compared to Kudzu's. We stand in front of his door for a while as the raccoon fishes through his pockets for his keys. It's made extra difficult with me hanging on him.
I can stand on my own if you...
Got it. Kudzu whips out a small gold-covered key before sliding it into the lock. Once we're inside, Kudzu immediately kicks the door closed behind us before reaching back to turn the deadlock. Kudzu then picks up his rifle and his shotgun and his 2 handguns and his magnum.
I was going to say, yeah, Brian's greatest weakness, a deadlock.
Yeah,
he cannot possibly penetrate that.
And then he grabs his MAGA hat.
He then reaches behind his bedpost and pulls out his katana.
His katana.
Yeah, no. Then he starts dual wielding Wakashabi. Yeah,
He starts tri-wheeling. He has one in his mouth.
yeah. He goes full One Piece. Yeah.
He's got a rifle. He's got a katana, like, what is it called? Bayonet.
Tana bayonet.
Oh, like the spear rifle from Bloodborne.
Yeah. The inside of Kudzu's trailer is the opposite of its exterior. It's brightly lit and tidy. Nothing like Brian's place. It's a little cramped as any trailer would be, but the furniture is arranged neatly and the kitchen is spotless. Everything looks way newer than the trailer is on the outside. I imagine the raccoon did a lot of work to get it to look like this. Kudzu quickly guides me to a small love seat and makes as if to lay me down. I put a hand against his chest, feeling my stomach turn.
Wait, I think I'd rather sit up.
Do you need anything? Food or drink? Kudzu's...
Whiskey, neat.
Yeah. The strongest booze you've got. I need to not remember the something. I mean, that breath. Ugh. Kudzu's looking into my eyes with his dark browns. The brows above them furrowed in deep concern. I nod slowly, so as to not upset my stomach again.
Just water, please. You know, I'm an otter. Us otters need our waters.
Sure. Kudzu quickly hurries off to the kitchen, and I slowly lean into the cushions behind me. I'm not tired at all, but I feel numb, and not just physically. My arms throb, and it feels like the leather straps are still bound around my wrists. It even feels like they're being pulled by an invisible force. Like if I relaxed, my arms would float back up into the fixed position. My shoulder...
Well, you gotta just use the force, Chase. Use the force!
Use the force. I shudder, hugging my body, then look around, trying to find something else to focus on. A grouping of 3 picture frames on a small side table next to the love seat catches my attention. From where I'm sitting, I can see Kudzu in one of them, beaming at the camera. It's actually kind of weird to see him smiling like that. There's an arm around his neck, and I start to lean over a bit to see who it is. Here. Kudzu appears in front of me again, holding out a glass of water.
Only I think it's water. I take a sip, it's vodka.
No, it's piss.
It's like...
You know, Kudzu's just really into that.
Just like, wow, this is just sake. I straighten back up and against the cushions. Once I take the glass, he holds out his other hand with 2 white pills resting in the black pad of his palm. Acetaminophen, if you're on paid. That's Tylenol for those of you who don't know what acetaminophen is.
But we can't say Tylenol for some reason.
Copyright.
I don't think it's that. Some people know it's called acetaminophen. I definitely am, so I take it in the glass without a word and swallow it down. For a second, my stomach sours and I feel like it's gonna come back up, but only for a second.
Do you have any dry cereal?
Kudzu steps back and watches me. Even though his face maintains its stoic, almost glare, I see his hands fidgeting together in front of his stomach. I nod weakly at the recliner across from me.
Do you want to sit or something?
Kudzu seems to consider, then walks over to the recliner. He sits at the very edge of the cushion, back rigid, continuing to stare at me. I take another sip of water, less this time, as to not upset my stomach. It looks like he wants to say something, but keeps silent, lips pressed together. Kudzu watches
He wants me.
Kudzu watches me the whole time.
What's wrong? Am I just too sexy for you?
Kudzu opens his mouth, then closes it, thinking before opening it again. Are you Okay.
Yeah, sorta. I mean, I'm not gonna die, I think. He may have poisoned me with, all the things in the trailer, but probably not. Probably he's not gonna, like, drop me, like ricin or something.
I'm not really sure if I'm completely okay. Everything still feels numb. My thoughts feel sluggish, too, and something that's been nagging at the back of my mind since I got here suddenly bubbles to the surface.
Did you call the police?
I absentmindedly reach for my phone in my pocket, but it's not there. I have no idea where it is at this point. Was it still at Leo's house? There was a slight look of consternation on Kudzu's face. Phone's not working. Even my landline isn't working. My foggy brain tries to process this.
What, did the phone lines break or something? Certainly can't be supernatural forces.
Kudzu shakes his head. I don't know.
Should we walk to my car or something and drive to Peyton?
I look out. I look back out the pitch black window.
We need to tell someone right now. Janice and Leo are still out there.
There's no way Janice hasn't been found by now. There should be police everywhere.
Where are the cops?
I turn back to Kudzu, feeling sick again. Kudzu doesn't say anything, but he's got a strange look on his face, like he's trying to figure out how to tell me something. Finally, he stands up. I'll figure something out. Listen, I think you need to get some rest. I frown.
We need to get someone out here. What if Brian comes after me?
I shrink in on myself at the thought, feeling goosebumps erupt over my arms. Kudzu steps close to me and awkwardly reaches out to put a hand on my shoulder. You'll be fine. Do you want to lay down on my bed? I don't say anything. I don't say
Already
anything.
trying to get in there.
Oh yeah. I don't say anything. My head's still trying to catch up. It's a waterbed. Kudzu adds, as if that makes the offer more tempting. He thinks.
Well, you are an otter.
You hungry? I don't know why he rolls his R's sometimes. You hungry? I have some muffins. It might help you get to sleep. I shake my head.
What? No, I want to get
A loud pop makes me jump and I stand up. I'm not sure what I'm about to do, but Kudzu reaches out gently and holds on to me before pulling me away from the window. Faintly, I hear someone... Hello? Faintly.
Okay.
Faintly, I can hear someone shouting outside, but it's far away.
What was that? Is someone shooting?
I look at Kudzu, starting to feel desperate. He puts an arm around me, at the same time moving towards the end of the trailer where the big bed is tucked in. I don't know.
Ooh, it's a king-size waterbed even. Behold, Chase.
I don't know. A lot of things are happening right now, so I think we should stay here to be safe, okay? For now, at least. I hold on to the raccoon, unsure of what to do. Listen. He holds me by both arms, and I look back at him. You've got to trust me, that we can't leave right now. Explain it all after you're rested for a bit. He pauses. I can tell you're not really here right now. Here right now? You'll feel better once you wake up, alright? The thought of laying down is tempting, despite feeling like I'm going insane. If I sleep, I don't have to think. Just blank my mind and rest. My head is buzzing and I feel like laying down might straighten things out. Kudzu gently but firmly forces me to sit down on the bed. Despite his slender build, I can feel the strength in his lean muscles.
But what about Brian and Duke?
Kudzu slowly pushes me back down onto the bed. The water underneath the surface sloshes faintly. I haven't been on an actual water bed for years. Carl used to have one. Where's Carl? Where's everyone? I want to go back to the motel and find my friends again, but Kudzu seems adamant on keeping me here. I got Leo's gun. I saw it on the ground when I went to check on you guys. You must be able to tell from the look on my face that I'm not at ease, because he reaches out again to rest a hand on my chest. It's still awkward, but comforting at least. I'll be here all night. Nothing's gonna happen. That does make me feel better, at least well enough to maybe get some sleep.
Okay.
I stare at the feeling. I stare at the ceiling as I lay back. I still feel numb, but in a way that helps me blank my mind. In what feels like less than a minute, I pass out. Yeah, you guys are actually starting to see the dyslexia.
I stare at this feeling
I just got
right in
this
front of
feeling.
me.
Ooga
Yeah.
chaka. Ooga chaka.
Yeah, service dyslexia does that to you.
Oh no, Brian. Oh no, Brian.
I feel like if I keep walking along the train tracks, I'll be able to find my way out of here. I make sure to walk in the middle, using the planks as like stepping stones. The steel rails on either side of me feel like some sort of barrier, protection to whatever's out there. I feel a presence in front of me, though, a sort of pressure that builds as I continue to walk. Looking up, I can see that it's coming from that weird grove of trees that bunch up around the train yard. Something is crouched in front of that grove, staring at me from the trees. I keep walking, though, because for some reason I don't feel like I have anything to worry about as long as I stay on the tracks. I notice something else behind the hunched figure. A few bulky objects hanging from the trees. I know what they are before I can even make them out. I keep staring at them as I draw closer, ignoring the thing that's watching me as I do, hearing it breathe as I pass. Now I can see that there are several bodies hanging from the trees. They're of all shapes and species. Some hang by their necks, others by their wrists or ankle. One of them passes me within a few feet, and I notice that it doesn't have legs, both of them cut off at the thigh. It's a wolf, and he dangles by one of the stumps. Blood stains his dusty cream-colored pants and shirt all the way up to his face. As I pass him, he slowly turns on the rope as if he's following my progress. I look down at the corpse's face, the mouth hanging open, eyes wide. It's like he wants to tell me something important. I can feel my body again, but it's numb and heavy. Slowly I open my eyes and see the beige ceiling of Kudzu's trailer. I flick my eyes to the right and see Kudzu there, but only his back. He seems frozen, like in a photo. He's not even breathing. I can see the window very well from here, but from the small corner I see eyes. When I wake up, Kudzu is next to me in the bed, his back to me, one of his ears folded under his head. Having been with Leo for a few years, I know that can be pretty painful when you wake up. So I reach out and try to slowly adjust Kudzu's ear from under his head, but he immediately wakes up. He makes a funny snorting sound before suddenly jerking up halfway off the bed and looking back at me. I smile sheepishly.
Sorry, I was trying to fix your ear.
Kudzu reaches up, poking out the ear. Owie. Thanks. I like how he's like Owie. Next he'll be like, ooh.
He's like, I love Chase now, ooh-woo.
I notice on the back side table that there's a small plate with what looks like a blueberry muffin on it. Kudzu notices and reaches out for it. You want to eat? I ate a couple earlier myself. I didn't realize how hungry I was. He lowers his ears. Still one left, though. My stomach has settled for the most part, so I take the plate from him. Thanks. Chase, go for it.
Thanks.
I just got like this idea that's like it's like Discord all over again. Like he eats the plate and leaves the muffin.
That was good.
Well, I'm guessing that Kudu baked them himself. So, he's moving up in boyfriend territory.
Right.
He saves you from a murderer. He has a, cute little, he keeps his house nice and cute. He's great at gardening.
So he saves you from the murder, so he's immediately like Disney Prince territory, or he's Prince Kutsu.
He keeps everything nice and clean.
I dig it.
So
And Kaiser's like, I dig it.
it's still dark outside, from what I can see. Did we sleep through the whole day? I realize that I've completely lost track of time.
What time is it?
Kudzu reaches over to the bedside table, grabbing his phone. 2:30 in the morning. I rub my face.
Did we sleep through the whole day or something? Because I forget that 2:30 in the morning would be dark. I'm Chase.
No.
Great reporter.
No. You were asleep for like 2 hours.
Really? So I'm going to assume you're lying. Because I, Chase Hunter, only tell time with sundials.
It felt like it had been days since what happened at Brian's trailer. Yeah, I found you around midnight. Kudzu turns nimbly on his rear on the bed, facing me with his legs crossed. How are you feeling?
I'm okay.
Oh, I think I know what his voice is slowly turning into. I think he's turning into like hot Spanish character. My
The
name,
Telemundo Raccoon.
my name is Kudzu Tanderes.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
You kill my otter, prepare to die. Because he's from Asian there, he pulls out a katana.
yeah, he just whips out a katana.
or he's more closer to Indian, so he pulls out two sais.
Yeah. Kudzu gives me a long, hard look. Again, he has the expression of wanting to say something, but he's holding back.
What is it? Come on, ask me. Ask me.
Kudzu lets
My
out a breath.
status is single. I don't know what Leo's saying.
Kudzu lets out a breath. Yeah, I mean, Leo's dead, right? Listen, I'm not going to ask about what happened with Brian, but if you ever want to talk about it, talking about Brian is the last thing I want to do, and I can feel the threat of a violent shiver coming up my spine just thinking about him. Kudzu reaches out one of his black hands to rub at my shoulder. Awkward and comforting, as always. I've been through some stuff myself. Kudzu catches himself. Not saying I know what you went through, but know how it can feel having something really fucked up happen to you. I don't think I've ever seen Kudzu stumble over his words like that. I mean, I'm not trying to say that it's comparable if he, Kudzu trails off, seemingly stunned at his own lack of delicacy. Delicacy? Yeah, okay. For the first time since
It's like a lunch meat. You gotta make sure it's good and sliced.
He's surprised that he's like not cooked the right way and sauced the right flavor.
Welcome to Kudzu's Delicatessen.
I'm not gamey at all.
For the first time since I left that trailer, I feel a little bit like laughing. I reach up to rub Kudzu's own arm, feeling like I needed to comfort him now.
No, it's fine, man. He didn't do anything like that, at least not how you think he would. He wanted to, though, but apparently Duke has a magical force over him.
Kudzu watches me. I know he's not going to ask, so I go on.
He has a thing for asphyxiation, I guess.
Oh, jeez. Kudzu's eyes immediately go to my neck.
I'm fine. It's just creepy.
Creepy definitely doesn't begin to describe it, but I don't think now's the time to go into details.
Traumatize him back.
I look out the window again, and aside from a few orange dots of light from a faraway lamppost, it's black.
So can you, tell me what's going on now?
Kudzu runs his hand...
I, as a reporter, will note all of it.
Kudzu runs his hand through his head fur, sighing heavily and looking out the window with me. Sure you don't want to wait until morning?
I really don't think I'm going to be able to fall asleep again. Honestly. I'll have to be, hit with a car or something to get the next dream sequence.
Kudzu continues to stare out the window, and that's when I really start to wonder what it was that I'd missed. So, yesterday, about noon is when I saw some weird stuff going on. Kudzu looks at me. Your friend, DJ. He came kind of jogging up the road. My mind flashes back to when I saw TJ running past the diner. I hadn't had time to really figure out what he was doing before Duke barged in. He said someone was after him, and that he needed to leave.
He talked to you? Where is he?
I feel the fur pricking up all over my body. The thought that TJ might be out there somewhere and that in the chaos is terrifying. How could someone like him survive that? I'm certainly doing a terrible job. I don't know. He asked me if I had a car, but I don't, so he kept on up the road. Up the road? There's nothing past Kudzu's trailer aside from Carl's house, and that's over a mile away. But Carl doesn't have a car anymore. Maybe he just stayed with the Ram. I hope that's the case. After he left, though, is when things really started going crazy. Kudzu shakes his head. You know Dale?
Yeah. He hangs out with and they rescue things.
Yeah.
They fight Fat Cat.
Dale is the only otter in town now that my family has left. He was walking up the road with a fucking shotgun, pointing it around at stuff.
Is that out of the ordinary for Dale?
I want to get back on the topic of TJ. If he went up the road away from the town, we could still find him. But he was bleeding, had cuts up had cuts on his leg, and his jeans were all ripped up.
Like Janice was coming after him. I'm sticking with that as my headcanon. Oh.
Yep. Janice was coming after him. She was singing her favorite song ever. Shank, shank, shank. Shank, shank, shank.
Well, I can explain why I do think it's him. If you guys want to listen to my crazy headcanons.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Nah, don't worry.
Oh?
It's all good. Yeah.
But he knocked on my door. I didn't open it, but he yelled through it, saying there was a meeting in the center of town.
What kind of meeting?
It fucked up.
You know, like, is it a tea party, or are we gonna like have like a prep rally, or
The leader of town is making a lot of Kool-Aid that he wants us all to drink. A fucked up one, apparently. Anyway, I went over to Leo's house to see if he was home. Then I saw the window. Gudzu rubs the back of his neck, his ears lowering. Obviously, I knew some bad shit had happened, but I had no way of knowing what. Anyway, I went to the town center, hoping I'd see you two there, but just getting there was crazy. Gudzu looks back at me. Jeremy's house was burning, and Jones's house looked like it had been broken into, too. Yeah, no, her name is just Jonas now.
yeah, because they have to steal all her precious
Overtime.
meth? Overtime, yeah.
Jeremy's house? That was Jenna's house. Didn't run into anybody until I got to the town halls. Into the town house. This whole thing
Yeah,
is
it's
just...
not a town hall, it's a townhouse.
Yeah.
That's how big of a deal Echo is. It has a whole house, not just a hall.
This whole thing is just getting bigger and bigger. While I'd been in Brian's trailer, everything had been falling apart outside. But why?
What's going on?
Gudzu shakes his head. I still don't know that, even after they told me.
Who?
The older guys, Mark and the mayor, said something about this having happened before, that it was our turn, or something.
Our turn? What does that mean?
Gudzu
If I had, looked into the actual smoke room like I was in town to do, I would know. But I'm Chase Hunter.
I'm a reporter. Gudzu shakes his head again. I don't know. They just said it happened to their grandparents. That we had to be ready.
Ready? Do they tell us what to do?
Said to pray.
Is that all they told you?
Basically. Acted like there was nothing we can do about it, and, Gudzu pauses.
What?
They also said we can't leave and showed us a body. Gudzu stops talking. I stare.
Like a dead body? Or like a live one that, they just wanted to show off? They were on the Ozempic, so they had, their abs were just ready to go. They were in a crop top.
Oh, Echo! Gudzu swallows and nods.
What is going on?
I feel my voice rise in pitch, and Gudzu puts up his hands as if trying to quiet me down. I don't know, but there were weird cuts on the body. They said we can't leave because something out there will stop us if we try to leave town. I stare at Gudzu.
Like a serial killer or something? Which is odd because Brian's over at his trailer.
Hopefully dead, but probably not. They wouldn't say. They acted like it's a monster. So they are telling me that these are a bunch of people who live out in the middle of nowhere. And as a result of that, are probably heavily armed. And these fuckers aren't just marching out in force, rifles and shotguns out there ready to just blast this thing into oblivion. Then it turns out the thing has DR 1 million physical.
Well,
Hey,
we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, I don't know if guns can stop it.
I think this creature's CR is like infinity.
CR, better call Saren Ray.
Better call Kutu.
Challenge rating 1 million.
Yeah.
Challenge rating infinity. You're fighting a god.
You just see Kudzu and he's just like, Athamarasu, come and save us.
Well, I beat gods all the time in Elden Ring, and I'm just a little tarnished.
Well, granted, the one actual god you meet in that game is like an absolute piece. That was like the weakest god in the game.
Oh, and Elden Ring?
Yeah. Elden Beast was a joke.
Yeah.
It's like got beat by everything, including Radigan.
yeah. He's not really.
Well, to be fair, it's a lot easier with the horse now, yeah.
Yeah, he's not really intended to be. I think he's intended to be. I mean, he has to be easy though, because he's part of a duo fight. Anyway, Chase, go for it.
Okay. Well, then they're lying, right?
Kudzu is
Because
quiet.
monsters can't be real. That would be crazy.
Yeah, Kudzu is quiet for a moment, then shakes his head. After everything I have seen, I just don't know.
Well,
I think trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do. Now, this is why you should have a helicopter. You can just turn on your helicopter and fly up like a mile or something and then fly over to Peyton.
yeah, or, yeah, just a plane.
You just see, like, Socket Man just jump into the air.
Probably good.
You see,
It's like Attack on Titan all of a sudden.
you just see like the shockwave come after him. He goes and flies up into the helicopter.
And then because it's all becoming enemy, just like someone just like slides into the screen and punches it to the ground. And Echo is never haunted again.
So that's when Dr. Stone shows up and uses like 8 different kinds of insane science. And just like it's about, uses like gets a tunnel going and they just dig their way out of that guy.
Yeah, the rest of the greater universe in this setting shows up and just Starkiller bases the entire star system to try and get rid of it. Alright, Chase, go for it.
Well, we need to find Leo at least.
Kudzu nods. Like, he's already thought about that.
And maybe get my car and at least try to leave.
Kudzu doesn't say anything to that.
But if we can't leave for whatever reason, then we at least have to find the rest of my friends. Because that is Kudzu's responsibility. Finding his friends.
I look at Kudzu.
That he doesn't know.
I look at Kudzu.
Well, I do. I don't know what you're going to be doing. This is how I thank you for saving my life from a serial killer. It's just like, laters, dipping out.
Kudzu gives me a wry smile. Well, I don't have anywhere else to go, aside from out of here. Besides, I owe it to Leo to get him out.
Then we will see how Leo repays the favor.
By being an abusive dickhead.
Yes.
Well, someone must have read ahead.
I feel a warm rush of relief flow over me, knowing that Kudzu will be with me.
And you notice Kudzu speaking.
I don't think I'd be able to do any of this alone.
But he's a super capable journalist, Otter.
Yeah.
Clearly, he can, fight the apocalypse by himself.
Yeah, don't you know? All he needs to do is take off his glasses, go into a phone booth, correct his posture and change clothes, and then he'll fly out and go beat up, like, I don't know, who's Superman's villains?
Socket Man.
Yeah, he'll go beat up Socket Man.
Chase, go for it.
Okay. So we're going to get Leo?
Kudzu nods. Well, I am, at least. You should really stay here. Get some more rest after what you went through. Of course, I'd rather stay here and hide until Kudzu comes back, but Leo tried to save me back at the diner. Risked his life to do it. After everything Leo had done for me, I owe him too.
Yeah, I think that had to be like if you run through the front door. Because, like, yeah, I don't know what, other than, the standard get down, like anybody would do. I don't know. No, I'm going to go with you. Because I'm super capable Otterman.
Kudzu shakes his head. I don't think so. It'll make things easier if it's just me. Kudzu shifts, looking towards the kitchen. Besides, I have Leo's gun with me, in case something goes wrong.
Then why didn't you use it?
Why don't you kill the
Well,
people who are
Brian's
trying to kill you?
bulletproof.
Brian
He
is
was my
bulletproof. That is why you put the muzzle of the. That's why you put the muzzle of the gun. You shove it slightly into his eye socket and then pull the trigger.
Or you stick it up his butt.
Nah, he'd like that too much.
Probably would.
He was my boyfriend. I can't just...
Really becomes like an Asian like martial arts movie. So it's Bulletproof Bear.
All right, cheers.
He was my boyfriend. I can't just sit here while you save him.
Kudzu pauses. Listen, I know Leo, and I know he would never want me to bring you into something like this.
Yeah, well, Leo not wanting me to do something's never stopped me. Especially that time when the R word came up. But I did it anyway.
Getting defiant like this is making me feel better. Gives me purpose again. Kudzu looks like he's about to shake his head again, but I continue.
Besides, it might help things. One of us could go in while the other distracts Duke or something.
Kudzu looks unsure, so I press my advantage.
And if something goes wrong, one of us would be there to help the other.
Kudzu pulls at one of his whiskers. Damn it. Maybe. If it's just Duke there.
He might not even be there. He might be at Brian's trailer or somewhere else around town.
Kudzu sighs, then looks me right in the eyes. Are you sure you want to do this? I'm not, but I nod anyway.